Given a second chance at life, I opened my eyes to the year Su Yenzhou earned his doctorate. To recruit him, Yunqing University in his hometown offered a spousal employment opportunity. My high school classmates showered me with congratulations. Shu Tong, your perseverance has finally paid off. Only I knew the fruits of my 8 years of toil would soon be handed to his mentor's daughter, Lin Jianyue, on a silver platter. I'm sorry, Shudong, Su Yenzhou said with an apologetic look. But your adult education degree simply can't compete with Jianyue's qualifications for this opportunity. I stared at his all-too-familiar expression, my heart turning to stone. This time, I didn't throw a tantrum to cling to this job opportunity. Fine, I nodded briskly. Let's get divorced. Su Yenzhou grabbed my arm abruptly. It's just a temporary divorce. We'll remarry in 3 years when Jianyue gets her permanent position. Later. I went to Shenzhen to complete the education I'd neglected in my previous life. The tragedy of dying alone in a rented room wasn't repeated this time. When we met again, Su Yenzhou's bloodshot eyes burned with raw emotion. Wasn't this supposed to be a sham divorce? I've waited 6 years, let's remarry. I looked up and let out a soft chuckle. Remarry, Su Yenzhou, have you and your junior sister actually filed for divorce yet? I realized I'd been reborn. Now standing in a kitchen swirling with cooking fumes as I stir-fried, Su Yenzhou's arms snaked around me from behind, his breath deliberately warm against my nape. Shudong, the voice dripped with sickly sweetness. Could you give that job position to Jianyue? Sizzle, scorching oil suddenly splattered onto the back of my hand. I gasped for breath, but he stood there like a block of wood, already mentally rehearsing his next gut-wrenching words. With your education, you'd be lucky to land a dorm supervisor job. Jianyue could become a lecturer. She knows how to handle things and is willing to compensate you. But, he tightened his arm around me, to secure this spot, we'd have to get a sham divorce first. I swear we'll remarry once she becomes a full employee in 3 years. I clutched my abdomen tightly, the cancer-induced agony before death still haunted my memory. A torment 1,000 times worse than scalding oil burns in my past life. I desperately sought Su Yenzhou's help after my cancer diagnosis. He didn't even let me finish a single word before cutting me down with his insults. Those venomous words still echo in my ears. Shudong, I'm a university professor now. Look at you with your night school degree. Expect me to stay with you. How's that fair? You may have worked 8 years to put me through school, but I left you the house and the divorce. That should settle my debt. 1. I'm married to Tsukimi now. She's my true life partner. Stay out of my life from now on. He had security throw me off campus with orders to never let me back in. In the end, I died alone in agony in that urban village rental. What a fool, thinking happiness could be caught by clinging to a man. How could joy ever be chained to such a heartless bastard? Click. I turned off the stove and rushed to the sink. I twisted the faucet, letting cold water rush over the burn on my hand while trying to numb the searing pain buried deep in my memories. All right. I turned around and gave a firm nod. Let's get divorced. Su Yenzhou froze instantly. All those cutting remarks from our past life, about me being an embarrassment who'd shame him at school, died in his throat. His eyes widened in disbelief. The words barely left my lips. At this moment in our previous life, I was wailing uncontrollably, for 8 long years. I burned the midnight oil working overtime just to put him through school and pay for his mother's medical bills. In the end, his conscience kicked in, and I finally got to accompany him to Yunnan University for registration. Think about it, with her father being the deputy dean, Lin Jianyue would never settle for a mere spousal employment opportunity. Su Yenzhou was always her real target. She joined Yunnan University just a few months after we enrolled. After her arrival, gossip spread across campus that Su Yenzhou's wife only had an adult education bachelor's degree. My educational background became a source of ridicule for Su Yenzhou at school. We had one explosive argument after another, and Lin Jianyue always knew exactly how to comfort him afterward. Our marriage eventually reached its breaking point. His voice rasped like sandpaper. You'd really do it. Still oblivious to my scalded hands, he just kept drilling into my eyes, hunting for signs of inner torment. Not a shred of it. I casually pulled out a tissue, slowly dabbing at the water. Why not? Doesn't it pay well? I lifted my gaze with a wry smirk. Dorm supervisor. Sounds dull as ditch water. I'm in it for the money. Shudong. The word money grabbing made him bristle, his carefully constructed facade cracking instantly. Jianyue is our teacher's daughter. After all his kindness to me, how could I not? Enough, I snapped. Who doesn't need money? Last month I pulled 15 straight night shifts to cover your mother's medical bills. If you cared about loyalty, you wouldn't have let me work those graveyard shifts, instead of helping her weasel out of paying. But, Su Yenzhou still wanted to protest. No buts about it. I took a menacing step forward, my gaze sharp as a blade. Su Yenzhou, we had a deal. I put you through school, and you'd secure my future. 2 months after graduation and you're still leeching off me. This opportunity is your repayment. My words are chiseled in stone. I'll step aside from the job, but the money, this opportunity is easily worth 300K, not a penny less. Pay up and I'll sign. Otherwise, we'll drag this out. See who blinks first. Su Yenjo stood frozen, his face ashen with anger. I served myself some wilted greens, sat down, and began sipping from a bowl of milky white fish soup. Letting out a contented sigh, I arched an eyebrow at him. Care to join me for dinner? He stared at me like I was some kind of monster. The steam from the wok blurred his face. No thanks. Tsukiyomi booked a room at Libin Lu to celebrate my new job. It's all industry people. So you, oh, I said without looking up, good for you. Don't forget your keys. If you get wasted again, I won't come pick you up. The air froze in an instant. No tantrums, no demands to tag along and assert dominance. What happened to that fool who rushed out to fetch him even in the pouring rain? All the plans soothing, arguing, compromising, the whole script fell apart. My calmness unnerved him more than any reaction he'd anticipated, leaving him flustered, suffocated, downright furious. Still playing doorman, I scowled. Shouldn't the lead actor be punctual? Su Yenjo snatched the keys off the entryway console. Bang, the deafening slam channeled his pent-up rage. I lowered my head and took another sip of the warm soup. So rich and sweet. The clock struck 2 in the morning. Su Yenjo staggered through the door reeking of alcohol. Seeing me silent on the couch, his tense shoulders suddenly relaxed, a barely perceptible smirk playing at his lips as he exhaled deeply in relief. Look, Shin Shudong was still that foolish woman who treated him as her whole world. Even if he stumbled home drunk at midnight, she'd still be waiting. A trace of self-satisfied consideration surfaced. Don't wait up so late next time. Get some rest. Staggering toward the kitchen, he went looking for that eternally warm hangover remedy from his past life. The kitchen stood empty and freezing. The stove was cold, the pot icy, not a trace of the soul-warming soup I'd imagined. He halted mid-step, whirling around as the last pretense of warmth dissolved into alcohol fumes and rage. Shin Shudong, his voice cracked with slighted fury, you've been lounging all evening, couldn't even bother making hangover soup. I ignored his outburst, sliding the prepared divorce papers across the table. Who said I was idle? Here's the divorce agreement I drafted, sign it if everything looks fine. What do you mean? His voice was laced with shock and resentment. We agreed this was just a sham divorce. What's with this nonsense? I tilted my chin slightly, the light catching the faint mockery in my eyes. A sham divorce still comes with real divorce papers, doesn't it? He choked on his words, then irritably shoved the documents aside. But we're still living together. We're still family. He even managed to force out a placating smile. I've discussed it with Jianyue. Since she's new here, she'll stay with us for now. Don't worry, now that I'm working, you can just relax at home and focus on taking care of the housework for Jianyue and me. His words flowed more smoothly now, as if painting an idyllic future. Jianyue even praised her cooking. Said she's lucky to enjoy your meals from now on. Under the light, that face I once adored now contorted into the ugliest visage. Expect me to wait on him and Lin Jianyue. How dare he say something like that? I tapped the agreement on the coffee table lightly with my fingertip. Since we're getting a divorce certificate, you and Lin Jianyue will inevitably need to obtain a real marriage license. So, I stared into his eyes, enunciating each word deliberately. If we don't settle what's rightfully mine now, are we waiting until your next divorce to let Miss Lin claim my share? Su Yenjo's face darkened instantly. Shudong, that's uncalled for. How could Jianyue possibly be interested in our meager assets? Oh, I let out a soft, derisive chuckle. Even brothers keep clear accounts. Not signing, leaning forward with unshakable authority, I added, then perhaps you'd prefer that dorm supervisor position at Yunda University, the one you despise so much. Fine, I'll sign. As if desperate to shake off the awkwardness and entanglements, he snatched up the pen without even bothering to read the document, scrawled his signature in a flurry of strokes, then slammed the pen down with finality. I watched him sign without the slightest ripple of emotion. His haste, his utter disregard, he was so certain I couldn't live without him, which is why he never noticed the clause stripping him of every asset. After signing, he abruptly stood up with a cathartic force. I've been drinking and don't want to reek up the room. I'll sleep in the study tonight. This was his trademark emotional neglect tactic. In my past life, years of his psychological manipulation left me crippled by insecurity, terrified to be apart from him even momentarily. Whenever he suggested sleeping in the study, I'd rack my brains to apologize and make amends. This time, I just gave a faint without even bothering to look at him. When neither the expected apology nor plea came, he froze in stunned silence. The air hung heavy with silence. Seconds later, flushed with rage, he spun around and staggered drunkenly into the study. Bang, went the deafening crash. The water in the teacup on the coffee table sloshed violently. I stood up, retreated to the bedroom, and locked the door behind me. Gazing intently at the graduate school acceptance letter I'd hidden away, Shenzhen University, Master of Translation and Interpreting. The pages glowed softly under the amber lamplight. Flashes of past life memories surfaced in my mind. I was terrible at all subjects except English and Chinese due to my uneven academic performance, so I didn't get into college after graduating high school. My classmate and boyfriend Su Yenzhou, however, got accepted into the prestigious Haida University with outstanding grades. But Su Yenzhou's father passed away early, and his mother has been chronically ill for years, coming from a broken home. No one ever cared about my grades, so we agreed that I'd work to put him through school, and he'd repay me after graduation. To ease my mind, he took me to get our marriage license the moment we came of age, but when he applied for direct PhD admission in senior year, I had no choice but to keep working. Watching his academic achievements grow, I constantly feared I wasn't good enough for him, so I pursued an adult undergraduate degree while working, and secretly signed up for graduate school entrance exams behind his back. In my past life, I ecstatically presented the admission letter to him, only to be met with his contemptuous glance and the crushing sound of the letter being tossed into the trash. A graduate from some third-rate university, our faculty wouldn't even glance at that. Shut on, stop messing around, be my proper helpmate. Hold down the fort so I can charge forward for you. Charge forward. In my past life, he was the one who heartlessly pushed me into the abyss. Fingertips traced the embossed university crest on the admission letter with lingering tenderness. This time, I didn't tell Su Yenzhou about my acceptance letter. My battlefield isn't in anyone's kitchen, nor at anyone's feet. In Shenzhen, at that university he looked down upon, I'll forge my own unshakable future with these hands. The day of our agreed divorce arrived. I waited early in the Civil Affairs Bureau lobby. Su Yenzhou appeared with Lin Jianyue, dressed head to toe in designer labels. Lin Jianyue's lips curled almost imperceptibly when she noticed my worn-out clothes. Sis-in-law, she smirked, handing over the paper bag. 300 grand in cash for compensation. Care to count? I took the heavy bag without glancing inside. Lin Jianyue gave a derisive snort. If it weren't for brother Yenzhou, someone like you'd never lay hands on this kind of money in your lifetime. Fingernails dug sharply into palms. I lifted my gaze, icy eyes sweeping over her. This opportunity was forged with 8 years of blood and sweat. I took a menacing step forward. Shall I shout and let everyone in the hall witness how Vice Dean Lin's precious daughter tries to buy another woman's husband? Lin Jianyue's face turned deathly pale in an instant. Su Yenzhou was both shocked and furious, too. Shut on, I snapped coldly. Let's get our marriage license now. Grabbed the paper bag and turned toward the counter, signed the papers, pressed our thumbprints, received the certificate. Su Yenzhou stared at me, searching for any trace of pain or reluctance in my expression. Nothing, only relief remained. Lin Jianyue immediately pulled the dazed man to the adjacent marriage registration counter. The procedure repeated itself. Lin Jianyue held the crimson marriage certificate between her fingertips, with laughter in her eyes. She nestled tenderly against Su Yenzhou. I captured this precious moment of them with my phone. Su Yenzhou took the marriage certificate. She looked back at me with unreadable eyes, a trace of barely perceptible guilt, but mostly it was that calm assurance of being unquestionably right. Shut on, just 3 years, it'll pass quickly. He spoke with unwavering conviction. Lin Jianyue nestled closer. I smirked like a spectator at a play. Debts cleared, do as you please. Turning around, I clutched my divorce papers and leather folder, walking away with light steps. That evening, Su Yenzhou came home to find me curled on the couch watching variety shows like nothing had happened. I'll sleep in the study. He delivered yet another silent treatment punishment. Got it. His eyes remained glued to the screen. Bang. He slammed the door behind him as he entered. The next morning, Su Yenzhou's face darkened instantly at the sight of the open suitcase in the living room. What's all this fuss about? Jianyue and I are reporting next week. Who are you packing for? Don't tell me you actually plan to come with us. Jianyue and I are legally married now. What would you even be there as? To make us the laughingstock of the whole campus. I'll send you our address once we're settled, but let's be clear, you're not to show up at the school. I shut the case with a blank expression. Who said anything about reporting in? He choked on his words. Just getting some fresh air. I dragged my suitcase out. The flight to Shenzhen was booked last night. With the money secured, I couldn't stand staying here another minute. He frowned and blocked my path. had enough drama, you alone, just going to the resort to unwind, I said dismissively. He grabbed the handle abruptly, his brow furrowed. Which resort? When are you coming back? His scrutinizing gaze swept across my face, searching for signs of resentment. Not decided yet. With a slight tug, the lever slipped from his grasp, just clearing my head. I'll be back when I'm done. He studied my profile, unnaturally calm, almost detached. That lingering unease in my heart suddenly intensified. Something feels different now, but years of conditioned control instantly suppressed this flicker of doubt. He assumed I was just acting out over the divorce. In the end, I'll have to return to this home. His tightly pressed lips relaxed slightly as he irritably released his grip. Spend money wisely, don't waste it on useless things. Come back early. The suitcase wheels rolled across the floor with a continuous, faint rumbling sound. Behind him, his phone suddenly rang, and he answered it immediately, speaking softly. Mizuki, having breakfast? Okay, I'll be right down. The call ended, with a final glance at the deserted porch. His unease had already been swept away by his new wife's insistent urging. It's fine, she'll come back eventually. Dragging the suitcase behind me, I turned the street corner. The case held a hefty 300 grand. My bank account still holds the 200,000 yuan relocation allowance Yanda transferred to me just last week. The suitcase wheels rolled along briskly, crushing 8 years of broken time beneath them. 300,000 in cash plus 200,000 relocation allowance, exactly $500,000. 8 years of my youth for $500,000, not that rundown house from my past life that couldn't even cover the mortgage when sold. Totally worth it. At the airport, I tossed away my SIM card. Goodbye, Suyenzhou. 6 years later, I returned to my homeland for an invited evaluation of Yun City's poverty alleviation program. During the craft workshop inspection, I unexpectedly ran into my high school classmate Gao Yanning working there. She struck up an eager conversation, her eyes brimming with undisguised envy. Shudong, you really had foresight back then. Clinging tight to Suyenzhou, that blue chip stock. I hear he's now a renowned professor at Yun University. Suyenzhou and I, divorced long ago. Gao Yanning froze. How could that be? At the last class reunion when everyone asked about him, he never mentioned you two were divorced. She pursed her lips and shook her head with a tisk-tisk sound. For uneducated women like us, how else can we get ahead without relying on men? A woman's charm lies in her ability to leverage connections. No need to deny your ties with Professor Su. My expression darkened as I spoke with measured calm. A woman shouldn't have to depend on anyone for survival. Carve your own path, and the world will open before you. Gao Yanning averted her gaze with a perfunctory nod, her smile never reaching her eyes. Clearly unconvinced by my words, having no desire for further small talk, I briskly moved on to another workshop. The tour concluded just as lunchtime approached. The government hosts invited our group to dine at a nearby hot spring resort. I had to take an impromptu video call in the car and only entered the resort after finishing the meeting. Just as I was looking for the private room Xiao Wang had booked for us, a clear feminine voice called out to me, "Waiter, please bring us a pot of Longjing tea." I dressed in matching traditional attire for the ethnic crafts factory tour today, only to be mistaken for a waitress. "Madam, I'm not." Shen Shudong, of all people to run into right after returning, Lin Jianyue. Suyenzhou was sitting right beside her, his face etched with unmistakable heartache. Lin Jianyue gave me a once-over, the corners of her mouth curling into a smirk. Some people run off with the money, only to end up waiting tables sooner than expected. Suyenzhou frowned in my direction, his eyes swirling with a mix of shock, pity, and a hint of schadenfreude. "Shudong, since we've run into each other, why not join us for dinner?" Lin Jianyue pouted and nudged Suyenzhou with her elbow. "Yenzhou, she's on duty as a waitress now. Is it really appropriate to have her sit with us? Don't get her fined over this later." She turned her head and smirked at the table. "Let me introduce everyone to Yenzhou's ex. Huh. What a conveniently vague label. Damn, I should have carried our divorce papers to shove in her face right now. That Miss Shen has no education to speak of and zero sophistication. She just ran off with our Yenzhou's money back then." She shot me a meaningful glance. "Looks like she's blown through all that cash by now." A bespectacled man at the table gave me a lecherous once-over. "A waitress? Pity, it's such a respectable profession. Could this lovely Miss Waitress refill my hot water?" Restrained snickers erupted at the table. Who knew educated elites could be this crudely disgusting? I stood frozen in place, the bespectacled man's face flushed with humiliation as he slammed the table in rage. "Where's the manager? Fire this waiter immediately." Suyenzhou frowned and grabbed my wrist. "Stop making a scene, Shudong. It's just pouring some water. Just apologize later, and I'll talk him out of filing a complaint." He thought he was doing me a favor. I wasn't. weren't what? Lin Jianyu cut in. What? You're claiming to be a customer. Could you even afford this place? There's no shame in being a server. No need to make excuses for yourself, Miss Shen. The greasy guy adjusted his glasses. All work deserves respect, but honesty matters most. The entire table turned to stare at me, eager to witness the humiliation of this lowly server who dared pose as a guest. Where's the manager? Why isn't he here yet? The bespectacled man launched another verbal attack. Su Yanzhou looked at me with eyes that said, you brought this on yourself. Don't expect my help now. President Shen, you should have let me meet you at the entrance. Xiao Wang's voice came from behind me. He stepped forward to show me the way. The Orchid Pavilion is this way. I followed Xiao Wang as we left. A heavy-set woman at Su Yanzhou's desk called out to Xiao Wang in surprise, Secretary Wang, what are you doing here? Xiao Wang turned back and looked at the woman with confusion. And you are? The plump woman introduced herself warmly. I'm Yuan Mei from Yunnan University's College of Liberal Arts. I was part of the reception team when you accompanied the party secretary to the meeting last time. Xiao Wang's face lit up with recognition. My apologies, I'm currently accompanying Mr. Shen on a business inspection today. Let's catch up another time, Mr. Shen. The plump woman froze. Lin Jianyu wore an awkward expression. Su Yanzhou stared at me in disbelief. Xiao Wang remained completely oblivious. What? Do you know President Shen? I was the first to leave. 3. I don't know them. The night was thick with darkness as I stepped out of the restaurant after dinner. Su Yanzhou emerged swiftly from the shadows. Let me walk you home. He reached for my bag with that familiar gesture. Just like in the days before our divorce, I sidestepped to avoid him. Su Yanzhou frowned, his voice laced with reproach. After 6 years, you're still this stubborn. You left without a word back then, and now you won't even give me a chance to make it right. Make up for it. Su Yanzhou, you signed the divorce papers yourself. You got the marriage certificate with Lin Jianyu. And now you're putting on this lovesick act. How pathetic. His expression shifted slightly, yet he persisted stubbornly. That was merely a stopgap measure. Jianyu, Yanzhou, a crisp feminine voice cut him off. Lin Jianyu hurried over, but a flicker of panic flashed in her eyes when she saw me. She suddenly looped her arm through Su Yanzhou's and gave it a coquettish shake. I haven't finished organizing my tenure review materials yet. The dean said they're due next week. The sudden tug made Su Yanzhou momentarily dazed. As if abruptly yanked back to reality, he looked at me, his tone growing urgent. Shudong, just give me a little more time. Though Jianyu's probation period is over, divorcing now would affect her professional evaluation. Ha. I let out a cold laugh and slowly shook my head. Su Yanzhou, you don't owe me any explanations. We've been divorced for years. He protested urgently. That was just a divorce on paper. Oh. 6 years ago you promised we'd remarry once Lin Jianyu got her permanent position in 3 years. She's been tenured for ages now. Yet you're still tied to her. He frantically pulled away from Lin Jianyu's grasp on his arm. We're not tied together. Her promotion evaluation requires marital stability. Silence. Enough. I cut him off. I'm already married. His pupils constricted sharply before he let out a derisive snort. Who are you trying to fool? You only came back because... Because what? I raised an eyebrow. Because you're getting divorced. He was at a loss for words. Lin Jianyu yanked him by the arm. Yanzhou, let's go back and sort through the documents. Though being dragged away by her, Su Yanzhou kept his piercing gaze fixed on me, searching for any crack in my composure. Shudong, you still have feelings for me, don't you? How shameless. I couldn't be bothered with him anymore and headed to the parking lot. Lin Jianyu's shrill voice came from behind. She's just trying to provoke you on purpose. Don't fall for it. Su Yanzhou didn't follow me, but he didn't believe my words either. Back at the hotel, I made a video call. The screen lit up, revealing a handsome face with gentle eyes and a faint smile playing on his lips. Did the inspection go well? Lu Sun's voice was deep and tender. I leaned back on the couch and relaxed. Ran into some old acquaintances today. Kind of annoying. He raised an eyebrow. Need me to come over? No need. It's nothing. Is Xiaoman asleep? Just got her to sleep. He turned the camera to reveal a small figure curled up on the bed, still clutching the plush rabbit I'd bought for her. She's been fussing for her mom all day today. The corners of my lips lifted involuntarily. We'll need about another week for observation. All right. We'll wait for the lady of the house to return. Hanging up the phone, I gazed at the night outside the window with profound serenity in my heart. This is what home truly means. No need to grovel for anyone's approval, but to have someone gently say, I'll be waiting for you. Early the next morning, as I was organizing my field report, the hotel front desk called. Ms. Shen, there's a Mr. Su here to see you. He says you're old acquaintances. My fingers froze mid-motion. Let him wait. 10 minutes later, I arrived in the lobby. Su Yanzhou sat in the lounge sipping coffee, every inch the polished professional, at the sound of footsteps. He turned with a flicker of admiration in his eyes. Shut on. He set down his coffee cup and stood up, his voice softening. My friends were rude yesterday. I apologize on their behalf. Let's have a proper talk today. About what? I said coldly. He took a deep breath. I've looked into it. Turns out you've been thriving in Shenzhen these past few years. Your Tongi group has become a leader in cross-border B2C e-commerce. He paused briefly, a hint of smugness flashing in his eyes. Now you're finally worthy of me, Su Yanzhou. I met his gaze directly. I told you yesterday, I'm already married. A confident smile played at the corners of his lips. Don't lie to me. You're only back because, stop flattering yourself. I cut him off with a sneer. I came back because the government invited me to join their poverty alleviation program. And does your precious junior sister know you're here to see me today? What? Now that I'm doing well, you want to dump your little junior sister and pick me back up? His eyes were bloodshot, brimming with genuine emotion. No, it's always been you that I love. Shut on. I regret everything. If I'd known you'd leave without saying goodbye, I regret. No, he just couldn't swallow his pride. He couldn't stand that the woman he once looked down on now stood beyond his reach. Su Yanzhou. Stop lying to yourself. I signaled for 2 security guards. Ms. Shen, this gentleman is harassing me. Please escort him out, I said coldly. Also, make sure to remember his face. He's banned from entering the hotel during my stay. Su Yanzhou stared at me in panic. Shut on, you. The security guards already had him by the arms. Just like my past self, he was thrown out. He turned back in disbelief, as if he couldn't accept that I'd truly abandoned him. The phone vibrated with a message from Lu Sun. Had breakfast yet? Xiaoman says she misses you. I replied, eating now. Tell Xiaoman her mom misses her too. My high school class monitor somehow got hold of my contact information, heard I'm back, kept calling to invite me to the class reunion. Shut on. Now that you're CEO Shen, too good for your old classmates, out of respect for our school ties. I agreed to make time for a group dinner, but told the class monitor not to invite Su Yanzhou. The class monitor promised over the phone not to invite him. On the day of the gathering, I arrived at the restaurant as agreed. When I opened the private room door, Su Yanzhou was already there talking. Let's just consider the relocation allowance as compensation for her efforts. My face darkened immediately. My classmates were all looking at me with disdainful glances. Chen Liang, who used to sit behind me, grabbed my hand. Shudong, Yanzhou has remained faithful to you for 6 years. Where else would you find such devotion? I shook off her hand and took my seat without hesitation. What nonsense has Su Yanzhou been spreading about me? Did he claim I ran off with his settlement money? I opened my phone and pulled up the photo of our divorce agreement stored in the cloud. This is the divorce agreement he signed. It clearly states he'd walk away with nothing. Guess why this shrewd man was willing to leave empty-handed just to divorce me? Because he wanted to transfer spousal benefits to his junior colleague Lin Jianyue. How could my spouse's job opportunity go to someone else? They'd have to divorce me first. Of course, I dug out that photo I secretly took of them getting their marriage license on our divorce day. My finger tapped the date displayed on the Civil Affairs Bureau's digital screen in the photo. They couldn't even wait, got married right in front of me the same day we divorced. The whole table erupted in uproar. Su Yanzhou's face turned deathly pale. My gaze swept across his ashen face. He abruptly rose to his feet. We agreed it was just a paper divorce. Once Jianyue gets her permanent position, we'd remarry. I didn't look back. Remarry, I scoffed. Were you even legally divorced from Lin Jianyue? You left without a word. I thought you were gone for good, so you just conveniently married your junior for real, I continued sarcastically. And now this sudden display of affection, looking for some extramarital action. I turned and shot the class monitor a glare. The monitor immediately became flustered. He said you two had a fight, asked me to help patch things up. I grabbed my bag and walked out. I valued our classmate bond, yet you played me for a fool. A furious shout erupted behind Su Yanzhou. Su Yanzhou, you deceived Shu Tong, and you deceived us all, scumbag, ugh, ungrateful trash. Su Yanzhou chased after them to the elevator. I'm getting a divorce right now. I pressed the close button. Whether you get divorced or not is none of my business. I raised my hand to flash the diamond ring on my left ring finger. I've told you before, I'm married. You're not even fit to hold a candle to my husband. The Yunqing inspection concluded successfully, though I've encountered some unpleasant people these days. The research findings more than make up for the annoyance. Closing the research report, I decided to give Cloud City manufacturers traffic priority. I'll be heading home right after signing the contract tomorrow morning. The thought of Xiaoman waiting at home brought an unconscious smile to my lips. Buzz, buzz, the phone vibrated urgently. It was Xiao Wang. I answered the call to hear Xiao Wan's voice, unusually tense. Director Shen, have you crossed someone recently? Scoundrel, what do you mean? The internet's in an uproar. Someone posted rumors claiming you got where you are by trading sexual favors. They're saying you don't even have a degree, that no woman could rise to the top of this industry so quickly without playing dirty. The most outrageous part, they're claiming we're having an affair and that I gave you special treatment in this deal. Absolute nonsense. He paused. The pressure from above is intense. Mr. Shen, my apologies. But we'll need to wait until things are clarified before signing the contract. My throat tightened, nearly robbing me of speech. I was invited back to invest, and still had to pull strings. After a brief moment of suffocating silence, Xiao Wan hurriedly reassured, rest assured, we've immediately contacted the criminal investigation team, and our tech unit is working around the clock to identify the rumormonger. 4. The call ended as I tapped open the search bar. The moment I typed Shen Shadong, the autocomplete suggestions that popped up were jarring. Slut, town bicycle, slept her way to the top. My heart sank like a stone. The vile source post was found with ridiculous ease. Exposé, how Tongyi Tech's female CEO slept her way to the top. The post's contents turned my stomach when opened. That person mocked my adult undergraduate degree relentlessly, treating it as a laughingstock. The most absurd part was fabricating a string of foreign sponsors I'd never even heard of. They outright accused me of trading sexual favors for business deals. Absolutely ridiculous. Tongyi is clearly a pure B2C platform. Where did this kind of transaction even come from? I froze. But the frenzy has already begun, and no one cares about the truth anymore. For this little-known female CEO, sensational labels and voyeurism are what really drive the clicks. The twisted faces behind their screens are desperate for an outlet to vent their ugliest impulses. Voyeurism and spite. Well. Isn't this my old no? 9 from back in the day, all suited up as a CEO now. Talk about moving up in the world. Hey upstairs, spill the tea on no. 9, asking for a friend, ran into this woman at a hotel elevator once, wrapped around some foreign dude. Yikes, bold taste, must be nice being a woman. Just spread your legs and doors magically open. Speaking for decent women everywhere, don't lump this trash with us. The vile words pierced like needles, stinging both eyes and heart. Buzz buzz, the phone vibrated again. I took a deep breath and answered the call. Lu Sun's voice came through, steady yet urgent. Shadong. He called my name like throwing me a lifeline. Don't look at that trash. I'm flying over to be with you right now. He paused, his voice calm yet firm. Everything's been arranged. I just had the Lu Corporation issue a public statement. Tonight at 8 p.m. Lu's Live Room proudly presents an exclusive interview with Ms. Shen Shadong, founder of Tongyi Technology. My team will be joining me. Shadong, we'll address this head-on when the time comes. Lu Sun arrived with his team in a whirlwind of activity. As the professional crew immediately began setting up and testing equipment, he said nothing, just gave my hand a firm squeeze that instantly put me at ease. Never imagined my first live stream would be to address malicious rumors spread about me. The host Lin Wei sat across from me with a stern expression. Mr. Shen, regarding the online accusations, particularly the false claims about your personal background, do you have any response? I pulled out my first diploma and spread it open on the live stream table. The camera instantly zoomed in for a close-up. Undergraduate diploma for adult higher education. Live comments started flooding in. Holy shit. Confirmed, it's a diploma mill degree. Absolute joke of a university. Dare to flaunt that worthless bot degree. Earned it on your back, didn't you? Adult education degrees. Sketchy as hell. Those in the know. No. This is what passes for entrepreneurship. Must be killer in bed instead. My eyes skimmed past the barrage of comments as I spoke. Yes, this is where it all began for me. I turned around. Think it's worthless. Think it's some third-rate certificate. Let me tell you, for this piece of paper, I worked assembly lines by day and burned midnight oil in my rented room until my eyes turned red, while others were dating, watching movies, or shopping on weekends. I was always buried in textbooks. That so-called worthless diploma you look down on was the only ladder I could grab to better myself back then. This diploma is stained with my blood and sweat, not the filthy nonsense oozing from some people's minds. Divergent opinions flashed across the screen as bullet comments. Working by day, studying by night, mad respect. What's wrong with adult education? I earned this through hard work. I pulled out my second certification. The camera zooms in. The university name on the cover stood out distinctly. Shenzhen University. I turned to the inner pages. Diploma. Shen Shadong is awarded the master's degree in translation. English. The barrage comments took a sudden turn. Wait, Shenzhen U's MTI program. Holy crap. Getting into SCU's MTI with that background, that's insane, mind blown. This background is perfect for cross-border biz. Sis, you're the epitome of femininity. My fingers traced Shenzhen University's emblem as I spoke with steady conviction. Getting to establish Tony was sheer luck. I happened to catch the wave of the times, but during grad school, I never let up for a second. Burning the midnight oil every day and giving it everything I had, during my 3 years in grad school. I spent every day attending classes and burying myself in the library. Nights were spent brainstorming Tony's business model with my team over and over. During the toughest period when Tony's servers crashed, we pulled 72-hour shifts to fix them, catching quick naps on cardboard sheets when exhaustion hit. Why push so hard? Because our team believes Tony should speak through service and technology, not through some people's filthy imagination. Lin Wei pressed on the sore point. Then how do you explain the accusation that you traded sexual favors for overseas client contracts? Trading favors for contracts? With whom? My sharp, staccato laugh echoed through the livestream. Tony is a pure B2C platform that connects with global individual buyers through technology. These rumor mongers are slinging mud without even understanding Tony's business model. The barrage of comments surged, backing CEO Shen. A legit B2C platform would never sleep with clients. That's just absurd. Trading sexual favors for retail orders. Whoever spread this rumor must be out of their mind. Study abroad student here. Bought a $9.99 phone case with free shipping from Tony. Why would CEO Shen bother with small fries like me? Lin Wei pressed her advantage. These accusations are completely fabricated. What's your response to such gender-based malicious slander? Outrage. My voice suddenly rose sharply. And pity for those pathetic keyboard warriors who can only think with their crotches. In your moldy old playbook, is a woman's success always reduced to selling her body? Our late-night study sessions burning the midnight oil, the professional certifications earned through gritted teeth, the sharp edge we wield at the negotiation table against men, all deserve to be erased by a single, slept her way up. What are you so afraid of? Afraid women might stand tall without needing you. Afraid we're finally smashing these ancient shackles with our own hands. The barrage exploded with messages celebrating female empowerment. Hell yeah, I'm sick of being accused of sleeping my way to every promotion. Sue them into oblivion. MS, Shen, you've got my full support. You tell M, sis, shut those misogynist pigs up for good. Shen Shudong rocks. The era of women's power is here. I straightened my back, staring sharply into the camera. I've already debunked the rumors. But we're not done with the slanderer yet. I'll track you down through the internet, you sewer rat. You'll pay for every filthy word you've uttered. As the studio lights went dark, overwhelming exhaustion nearly consumed me. I shoved him away abruptly. Lu Xin immediately steadied my swaying body. Shudong, you've worked hard. His voice was deep, laced with both tenderness and pride. I shook my head, steadying myself with the support of his arm. My phone buzzed in the bag. I pulled out my phone to hear Xiao Wang's weary voice. Director Shen, we've tracked down the rumor monger. Xiao Wang paused briefly before continuing. The IP address traces back to the faculty dormitory at Yunnan University. My heart sank as my suspicion was confirmed. The IP is registered under Su Yenzhou, while the posting account belongs to Lin Jianyue. The cyber police are already on their way to Yunda University. Su Yenzhou, Lin Jianyue. Turns out the sewer rats are old acquaintances. Just then, the phone screen lit up again, an unknown number with a Yun City area code. With bated breath, I answered the call. Shudong, is that you? It's Yenzhou. Su Yenzhou's voice trembled with panic, the background noise chaotic and overwhelming. The cops are here. They're taking me to the station. Please give me another chance this time. Can you drop the charges? I know I messed up. Forgive me. The phone carried Lin Jianyue's sobs and the police's clinical interrogation. Shudong, listen to me. He stammered in frantic defense. That post was Jianyue's doing. She resents you because I'm divorcing her. The post had already gone viral by the time I saw it. I just had a momentary lapse of judgment, seeing how cold you've been to me lately. I made a few anonymous comments, just a few angry words, that's all. I swear I never meant to hurt you. A few angry words, possessed by demons. If I weren't CEO Shen today, just an ordinary Shen Shudong, would he be weeping and begging for my forgiveness? Su Yenzhou, I said with terrifying calmness, save your confessions for the police. Without giving him another chance to speak, I hung up the phone. The world fell into blissful silence. The next day, after signing contracts with several vendors in Yun City as scheduled, I returned home with Lu Sun. The moment the front door opened, Mommy, Xiaoman came barreling into my arms with a sweet scent of milk and sunshine, her tiny arms wrapping tightly around my neck. I missed you so much, Mommy. I drank in the familiar scent of my daughter's hair, Behind us, Lu Xin wrapped me and our daughter in his warm embrace. Several months later, Xiao Wang sent a message, President Shen. The XX District People's Court in Yin City ruled today that both defendants were convicted of defamation. Su Yanzhou was sentenced to 1 year and 3 months, while Lin Jianyue received 2 years, both sentences to be served immediately. Yanda University also issued a statement expelling both of them. I set down my phone, my gaze drifting across the family photo on my desk. The glow from the phone screen illuminated our family of 3 smiling in the framed picture, given a second chance at life. I finally grasped happiness with both hands. Story 2, in middle age. Shen Jincheng moved in with his female student. He demanded a divorce, swearing he'd rather leave with nothing than look at my wretched, aging face another day. On the way to the Civil Affairs Bureau, I was hit by a car and fell into a coma. I overheard my adopted daughter's conversation with him. Dad, if Mom doesn't wake up this time, will you marry Aunt Bai? After all, Aunt Bai is my real mother. I've dreamed of our family being reunited as 3, Shen Jincheng said quietly. After your mother's funeral, we'll hold the wedding with Aunt Bai. When I opened my eyes again, I'd traveled back to the late 1980s. That was the year Jincheng and I just got married, and we'd just adopted our daughter. That same year, the girl Jincheng truly loved worked her way into a top university and left for Beijing. This time, all mistakes returned to square one, while I got the chance to set everything right. 1. A baby's cry snapped me back to reality, blinking in confusion. I saw a tiny room with crimson double happiness posters on the walls and a wedding photo bearing an inscription, May Shen Jincheng and Su Chenyan enjoy eternal marital bliss. Behind the door hung an old almanac open to August 21, 1988. Just then, the door swung open from outside. Shen Jincheng walked in carrying a fish. He appeared to be in his 20s, refined, handsome, and well-built. I could hear the child crying from outside. What's going on? Shen Jincheng hurried over, frowning at me. What are you spacing out for? Go prepare Yuqing's formula now. 2. Shen Yuqing was the abandoned infant I found at my doorstep 1 month before the 1988 college entrance exams. I glanced at the baby in my arms with disgust, laid her on the bed, and began meticulously wiping my hands with a damp cloth. The adopted daughter I'd cherished like the apple of my eye in my past life now evoked not an ounce of affection. Looking up, I saw Shen Jincheng squatting on the ground, cleaning fish and vegetables. He issued his usual command, 3 of my students are coming for dinner this afternoon. They're this year's top graduates, all admitted to prestigious universities. Make some of your signature dishes later. I remained silent. Shen Jincheng paused, surprised. Aren't you going to ask who they are? I let out a cold chuckle. I've forgotten the names of the other 2 students. But there's one girl I'll never forget. By Heji. 3. Dinner was served at 5 p.m. Teachers and students enjoyed each other's company, chatting about the college entrance exams and dreaming of bright futures. I couldn't get a word in edgewise, nor could I be bothered to try. Bai Heji sat right across from me, 3 years my junior. She had delicate features and an innocent charm. The oversized vintage school uniform hid her figure completely, and her pallid complexion didn't help. Head bowed, she picked at her food in silence, occasionally stealing glances at the baby. In our past life, Shen Jincheng had mentioned offhand that his student Bai Heji had contracted an infectious disease. To protect her classmates' health, Bai Heji studied at home during the final 2-month sprint before the college entrance exams. He occasionally visited to tutor students. I didn't think much of it at the time. It seemed perfectly normal. Looking back now, she was probably trying to hide her pregnancy. Come on, let's celebrate. Shen Jincheng poured wine for the 2 male students and thoughtfully served Bai Heji a cup of warm sugared water. First, congratulations on getting into a top university. You'll always make me proud. Second, I wish you boundless opportunities and smooth sailing ahead. With that, Shen Jincheng took out 3 envelopes and handed one to each student, saying gently, Beijing's expensive, it's not much, but consider this a small token from your teacher and my wife. The 3 students were moved to tears, repeatedly refusing the offer out of politeness. After Shen Jincheng insisted multiple times, they finally accepted. Each of the 3 envelopes contained exactly 100 yuan, with no favoritism shown. But while I was cooking, I saw Shen Jincheng discreetly slip a thick wad of cash into Bai Heji's satchel when no one was looking. It's fair to say Shen Jincheng poured every penny of his hard-earned savings into this, all to fund Bai Heji's college education. In her previous life, Bai graduated and landed a prestigious job, eventually marrying into an exceptionally wealthy family. Hers was a blissful marriage and a life of luxury. Later, her husband lost everything speculating in stocks and gambling on sports, then jumped to his death, while their son killed someone in a drunk driving accident, buried in debt. She had no choice but to return to her hometown to evade creditors, where she reconnected with Shin Jincheng. Like parched land welcoming rain, the middle-aged lovers rekindled their passion. By then Shin Jincheng had become a wealthy school principal, who generously cleared all his lover's debts. I was seething with rage. I threw tantrums, screamed, even came to blows. I cursed Bai Heji for having no shame. She shot back with a sneer, "Hey lady, get a facelift before you scare people to death." There's an ugly scar on my face from when Shin Yuqing, at age 4, bounced on the bed and nearly fell onto a red-hot electric stove. I dashed over in one swift move and pushed the child aside, but I lost my balance and fell, my face slamming squarely onto the red-hot stove coils. To this day, I can't forget the sizzling sound of burning flesh or the excruciating, heart-piercing pain. I was disfigured. Shin Jincheng barely touched me after that, only once when he was drunk. The moment he saw my face, he vomited. I pretended not to understand, convincing myself it was just the alcohol, yet he had to say it out loud. "I didn't throw up because of your face, don't overthink it." Just thinking about what happened in the past fills me with hatred. Shin Jincheng noticed something was off and leaned in, asking gently, "What's wrong, Chunyan?" Touching my smooth face, I feigned sadness. "I ran into an old neighbor today who said Dad fell while carrying water for the vegetable patch and hurt his back. I want to go check on him." Shin Jincheng blurted out, "If you go back, what about Yuqing?" Realizing his remark was inappropriate, he chuckled, "You wouldn't be much help even if you went back. How about sending some money to your dad instead? I'm still teaching the graduating class this year, and with school starting early these days, I'm completely swamped," I said firmly. "I have to go back. If it comes to it, I'll take Yuqing with me." Shin Jincheng objected, "That's out of the question. She's just a child. How could she handle a long bus ride?" The atmosphere suddenly turned tense, with none of us speaking another word. Bai Heji spoke timidly, "Perhaps I could take care of this. I'll help Shermu with the child during the day, then hand them over to the professor after work." Before Shin Jincheng could respond, I tearfully looked at Bai Heji. "That would be wonderful, Xiao Bai. How can I ever thank you?" With a modest smile, Bai Heji replied, "The professor and Shermu have helped me so much with my studies and daily life. It's the least I can do." Shin Jincheng's excitement was practically bubbling over, though he deliberately kept a stern face as he told me, "Hurry back. Xiao Bai will be leaving for Beijing soon. She needs to prepare documents and pack. We shouldn't trouble her too much." "Got it," I responded, in the shadows. I pulled out a double-sided folding mirror and angled it beneath the table. Bai Heji slipped off her cloth shoes and, barefoot, began stealthily rubbing her foot against Shin Jincheng's crotch. Shin Jincheng's throat bobbed, his cheeks flushed as he downed glass after glass. "This liquor packs quite a punch," he chuckled hoarsely, "goes straight to the head. Ugh, you shameless couple." 5. The next morning, I packed my bags early. I only left after Bai Heji arrived. Shin Jincheng personally bought my ticket and saw me onto the long-distance bus. I waved goodbye to him. As soon as the bus left the city, I got off and walked back downtown, heading straight to that photo studio in the West District. "Boss, do you have video cameras here?" the shopkeeper asked with a smile. "Young lady, are you getting wedding footage done?" I shook my head, ready to capture some eye-searing footage. "Words aren't enough. I'll make sure their schools and workplaces know exactly what this shameless couple has done." But the boss said the camcorder was loaned out and wouldn't be back for a couple days. Asked if I could wait. I frowned. Waiting is fine, but I fear delays might bring complications. Suddenly, something occurred to me. Around this time in my past life, a young man from Hong Kong stopped me on the street, saying I had great potential and asking if I'd like to try acting. He mentioned he'd be leaving town on August 22nd, and if I was interested, I could attend an audition at the Golden Court Hotel. After getting home, I told Shin Jincheng about it. Shin said I was just a middle school educated waitress, uncultured and downright provincial, as if such good fortune would ever come my way. He insisted that guy was obviously after money and sex, forbade me to go, and told me to stay home with the kids. I was so young back then, foolishly believing he loved me and had my best interests at heart. Many years later, I saw that man from Harbor City on television, the renowned director Liu Juanrong, originally an actor himself, twice crowned Best Actor, has nurtured numerous superstars. Catching Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji red-handed was important, but the job interview opportunity mattered more, so this time, I'm going. I have to go. 6. I took the bus and hurried toward the hotel. After getting off, I spotted a sleek black sedan parked in front of the hotel from a distance. A group of people emerged from the guest house, men and women dressed in stylish outfits, pulling their luggage behind them. The man leading them was tall, wearing a white shirt and jeans with sunglasses that accentuated his handsome, carefree demeanor. I recognized him instantly, Lu Juanrong. At that moment, Lu Juanrong shook hands with a middle-aged man before turning to enter the car. Director. I shouted in panic and rushed toward them. Before I knew it, I collided with a swill-carrying tricycle. As I fell, the sticky, foul-smelling slop drenched me completely. Ignoring the pain, I limped toward the man. Director Lu, please wait. Lu Juanrong pressed a finger to his nose, stepping back with a frown. Who the hell are you? I kept my distance, explaining hastily. Don't you remember? You saw me on the street last week. Said I had good presence and scheduled my audition here for the 22nd. Lu Juanrong removed his sunglasses. He had striking Eurasian features. After sizing me up, he suddenly chuckled and spoke in broken Mandarin. Ah yes, now I remember. That did happen. My heart leaped with joy as I started moving toward him. Then Lu Juanrong abruptly said, but we agreed on the 21st, so it's you who missed the appointment. Miss, I detest unpunctual people. It's utterly tasteless. You may leave now. I froze, nearly 3 decades later. I still recall the interview with the Hong Kong director, though the exact date escapes me. This is my only shot at redemption. I can't let it slip away. I stepped forward, grabbing Lu Juanrong's arm with tearful urgency. I'm sorry, director. Something terrible happened at home. Lu Juanrong shook me off in disgust. Get out now, or I'll call security. I dropped to my knees, kowtowing desperately. Please, I beg you. Give me one more chance. Clearly, no one expected me to stoop so low. Lu Juanrong remained unmoved, stating coldly, this act of yours is pointless. Let me be frank. The role I'm casting is for a West City local girl, piano playing, radiantly innocent. While your look fits superficially, your eyes lack any spark, oppressive, like a woman who's lived decades without hope. You're not right for this. Let's not waste each other's time. You may leave now. I froze. To my surprise, the renowned director truly had an eye for detail. Just then, a chubby girl beside Lu Juanrong leaned in and whispered in Cantonese, Ron, don't you think her mannerisms resemble the female lead Songjin a bit? Lu Juanrong frowned. Are you out of your mind? I've rejected Oscar-winning actresses for the Songjin role. What makes her special? The chubby girl shrugged. Sorry. Just throwing it out there. The final call's yours. Lu Juanrong put on his glasses and walked past me without a word. My legs gave out as if drained of strength, and I collapsed onto the floor. Indeed, even if reborn, Lady Luck would never smile upon me. Suddenly, Lu Juanrong halted, turned back, and studied me for a long moment. Let her audition for Songjin. 7 moments later, I learned the woman who'd spoken up for me was Sun Fong, Lu Juanrong's assistant. Lu Juanrong gave me exactly 10 minutes and a single page of script. The content is extremely sparse. It's basically about a middle-aged woman named Songjin during the Republican era, who resents her military officer husband for keeping a mistress. He didn't give me any further context. Character interpretation and improvisation were entirely up to me. How am I supposed to act without any background information? I can't do this. I've never had any acting training whatsoever. Dozens of family dramas I'd watched in my past life flashed through my mind. I'd seen too many tragic female characters trapped in unhappy marriages. I figured I'd just mimic one at random. But how could I make this imitation stand out? In the end, I decided to throw caution to the wind and just be myself. I asked Sister Afan to play my husband in the scene. No lines needed. Just enter after 10 minutes. Action. Lu Juanrong sat on the chair, still wearing sunglasses with his legs crossed. His male assistant stood quietly beside him, holding a compact handheld camera. Action. Worried I might not understand, Lu Juanrong repeated in Mandarin, let's begin. My heart skipped a beat as nervousness overwhelmed me. I pictured Shin Jincheng going to see Bai Heji yet again. He rented an apartment for Bai Heji, and they officially moved in together. He warned me that if I didn't agree to the divorce, he'd take me to court. With trembling hands, I kept dialing the hotel landline, hanging up and redialing. When the call still wouldn't go through, I slammed the phone down. Then I smashed every teacup, chair, and table in the room like a madwoman. I wanted to slit my wrists, just to see if he'd feel remorse when I was gone. The shard pressed against my wrist, but I couldn't bring myself to cut deeper. Later, I swept up the broken pieces, righted the furniture, silently cleaned the entire room, then sat motionless in my chair staring at the door. Just then, my husband walked in. I'm home, Fangjie said while slipping off her shoes. I stayed silent, refusing to ask where he'd been. I just stared at him as tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. Sister Fong seemed unnerved by my stare. Why are you looking at me like that? I gritted my teeth in silence, just staring at the man who called himself my husband. All these years, I've given so much for Shin Jincheng. When his mother became bedridden, I tended to her every need, even the most humiliating tasks, until her passing. I raised Shin Yuqing for 27 years, I took care of him around the clock, attending to every single need, even if I didn't achieve much. I worked hard. How dare he abandon me? This is my marriage, my home, my husband. I'd rather die than let Baiheji have it. I stood up, my voice calm though my body trembled uncontrollably. Let's eat noodles tonight. Filming stopped, the screen test was over. Lu Juanrong remained silent for a long while. He suddenly asked me, Miss Su, have you been through heartbreak, or has someone mistreated you? Indeed, in this marriage full of deceit, I've endured nearly 30 years of his neglect and betrayal. I shook my head and fabricated, no, I was imagining myself as Chao Chichiao from The Golden King, a woman trapped in an oppressive marriage during the old times, sexually repressed and worn down by life. She eventually became almost deranged. I was improvising based on that character. Lu Juanrong looked at me, pausing for a few seconds before saying, Miss Su, would you be interested in signing a contract with me? I felt the chill in my body gradually fading as I responded, yes. Lu Juanrong smiled, you're quite decisive. Miss Su, any issues with relocating to Hong Kong? I nodded, none at all. But there's something I'll need to borrow from you. I pointed at the camera in the male assistant's hand. 8. The night was pitch black. I hurried home with quick steps. Lu Juanrong followed beside me, grumbling, I must be out of my mind, helping you catch an affair in the dead of night and filming this filthy business. I looked at him sheepishly, bowing repeatedly. I'm so sorry for the trouble. Lu Juanrong's handsome face was full of impatience. Just get a divorce already, why make it so complicated? I lowered my gaze. Divorce, not that simple. I'll make sure they never escape this pain and humiliation for the rest of their lives. I unlocked the front gate and crept inside quietly. This courtyard housed 2 families, and as luck would have it, the neighbors next door had recently returned to their hometown. I walked up to my front door. The house was dark, but the violent creaking of a bed could be heard, accompanied by a woman's soft moans and a man's heavy breathing. At that moment, Lu Juanrong leaned in and whispered mockingly in my ear, your husband's quite the athlete, isn't he? I shot him a glare, took a deep breath, and kicked the door open. Instantly, a woman's startled scream pierced through the room. My hand darted to the light switch by the door. One sharp pull flooded the room with light. Before me lay 2 pale, naked bodies still entwined in each other's embrace. Baiheji, trembling like a startled rabbit, covered her chest and cowered beneath Shin Jincheng. Shin Jincheng's eyes widened in shock at my presence. Hastily disentangling himself from Baiheji, he yanked the thin blanket over to conceal his completely exposed lover beside him. Chen Yen, you can't be. Shin Jincheng's flushed face hadn't fully cooled, his damp bangs clinging to sweat-slicked temples as he fumbled with his trousers. He spotted Lu Juanrong. Who the hell are you? Lu Juanrong ignored him. He demonstrated the composure of a seasoned director, steadying the camera with professional precision as he framed the perfect shot of Baiheji's face. Shin Jincheng roared, what's that in your hand? A recording device. Stop filming this instant. With that, he grabbed a stool and swung it straight at Lu Juanrong's head. I shouted in panic, watch out, Mr. Lu. Lu Juanrong instinctively raised his arm to block while delivering a sharp kick to Shin Jincheng's stomach. The kick sent Shin Jincheng stumbling backward several steps until his lower back hit the edge of the desk. Barely preventing his fall, Lu Juanrong snapped the camera shut and carefully stowed it in his backpack. Striding forward, he seized Shin Jincheng by the throat, instantly slamming him to the ground while twisting his arm behind his back in a firm restraint. That was a clean move, definitely trained. Shin Jincheng struggled violently, demanding, Su Chenyan, who is he? You dare cheat on me? Just then, a commotion erupted outside. Neighbor Auntie Zhang called out, Professor Shen, Xiao Su. What's going on? I stepped outside and said to the curious neighbors with a chuckle, no worries, just a rat got in, Mr. Shen and I are dealing with it. With that, I shut the door, glanced at the trembling Baiheji on the bed, then walked deliberately toward Shin Jincheng. Let's talk. 9. The quartz clock's second hand ticked loudly in the silent room, the only other sound being Baiheji's muffled sobs. After a moment of silence, Shin Jincheng spoke up, Heji, go home first. I'll handle things here. Baiheji stood up and left without another word. I rolled up my sleeves. Stay right where you are. You're not going anywhere. Shin Jincheng stepped between us, blocking my path to Baiheji. Without a trace of guilt or panic, he was even angrier than me. Su Chenyan, didn't you say your father was injured? Why are you back in the middle of the night? You did this on purpose, didn't you? And who is this man? Your secret lover. How long has this been going on? When did you two start this affair? See, this is Shin Jincheng for you. Last lifetime when I caught him checking into a hotel with Baiheji, he pulled the same stunt, refusing to admit any wrongdoing while hurling insults at me. in his eyes, I have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Playing the occasional round of mahjong with my work friends gets labeled as gambling addiction and neglecting my family. When I gave my brother 2,000 yuan after his car accident, he saw it as endlessly bankrolling my birth family. After decades of putting up with me, he's reached his limit. He'd rather leave with nothing than stay married, leaving with nothing. He's already broke, the house was sold, and all our savings went to pay off Baiheji's debts. He even manipulated our daughter into lying, making her claim she'd racked up online gambling debts just to swindle 150,000 out of me. I clenched my fists, barely restraining my murderous rage. Then turned to glare at Lu Juanrong. With visible irritation, Lu Juanrong pulled a novel from the bookshelf and dragged over a chair without ceremony. He planted himself in the doorway like an entitled lord, crossing his legs to read. Crossing my arms, I stared straight at Shin Jincheng. That gentleman's my hired investigator. He could take down 10 of you, so behave yourself. Besides, this neighborhood's full of faculty from your university. Make a scene, and your reputation's toast. I jerked my chin toward Baiheji. This isn't fair to her either. Shin Jincheng remained silent for several minutes. Suddenly, he sighed with visible guilt. Chen Yin, Xiaobai had nothing to do with this. I had too many drinks with colleagues tonight and mistook her for you when I got back. I laughed coldly. So you're admitting you raped Xiaobai? I turned to Baiheji. Should I take you to report this to the police? Don't be afraid. We've got the evidence recorded. Baiheji shuddered. No, I can't. She lowered her head. The professor's been so good to me. I don't blame him, I scoffed. Oh, so you're admitting Professor Shin did rape you, but you're forgiving him. Funny though, from what I heard, you didn't resist at all, seemed like you were even enjoying it. Lu Juanrong couldn't help but burst out laughing. Shin Jincheng practically growled through gritted teeth. Chen Yin, we're husband and wife. Whatever issues we have should stay behind closed doors. What good does ruining my reputation do you? I'll admit my mistakes, I'll get on my knees. Just please destroy that recording. Baiheji sobbed and swore. Madam, I was wrong. I'll write you a sworn statement. I'll never return to West City or see Professor Shin again in this lifetime. I chuckled. Never see Professor Shin again. Really? Would your daughter Shin Yuqing even allow that? Just as I thought. Baiheji turned deathly pale in an instant, her lips trembling uncontrollably. 10. Shin Jincheng flushed with rage. Say what you will about me, but leave Yuqing out of this. She's just a foundling. I cut him off coldly. A foundling, you're certain? I spoke measuredly. On May 10th, 1988, exactly 3 months ago, I found this child on our doorstep. In the bamboo basket holding the child were several cloth diapers and a note. The mother had left it behind. Her handwriting deliberately scrawled to say her in-laws favored sons over daughters. They'd already drowned 2 baby girls before. This child, she simply couldn't bear to lose. She'd asked around. In this alleyway, Teacher Shen was the most educated, and Sister Su had the kindest heart. She begged our couple to take in this poor child. Shin Jincheng, remember when you took the baby to the police station, only to return with her shortly after? You said the officers suggested we foster her first. Perhaps the birth mother would change her mind and come back within days. And so in that lifetime, I ended up raising her for 27 years. I walked over and picked up the baby from the bed. Baiheji took 2 months off before her college entrance exams. What was she doing? Shin Jincheng, how dare you give Baiheji so much money? Because this child is clearly Baiheji's. I suddenly grabbed Baiheji's arm. Come on. We're going to the hospital for a blood test right now. Baiheji sobbed uncontrollably, struggling to break free. I won't go. Professor Shin Jincheng, help me. Shin Jincheng yanked me away. Stop this madness. If you don't want to raise this abandoned child, just say so. There's no need to slander Xiaobai. I lifted the baby with both hands. If it's not Baiheji's child, might as well drop it to its death. No. Baiheji rushed over and snatched the baby away. See. No need for a blood test at the hospital. Her maternal instinct says it all. Baiheji realized her actions were fully exposed. She slumped in defeat, clutching her child wordlessly as tears streamed down her face. Shin Jincheng crouched on the floor, fingers digging into his hair. The room plunged into silence once more. After a long pause, Shin Jincheng finally spoke. Chen Yin, what exactly do you want? What do you want? I took a deep breath. First, divorce. Second, I want Baiheji's college admission letter. 11, impossible. Shin Jincheng flew into a rage. Do you know how hard it was for a rural girl like her to get into a top university? Demanding her admission letter is no different from ruining her future. Su Chenyin, you're downright vicious. I shot Shin Jincheng a cold glare. Neither in this life nor the last was I ever his first choice. He's always been Baiheji's rock, supporting and protecting her. Nodding with a smile, I gave a thumbs up. Bravo, what a devoted lover. I turned to Bai Heji. Xiao Bai, you're a good student, let's do some math. You're 19 now, and you were 18 when you got pregnant with Yuqing. Getting pregnant doesn't usually happen on the first try, so tell me, were you even legal when your beloved teacher Shen slept with you? I asked Shen Jincheng with a smile. Teacher Shen, as an educated man. You must know that sleeping with an underage student is statutory rape, correct? Panic flashed in Shen Jincheng's eyes. Nonsense. Xiaobai was already of age when we got together. Believe what you want, always. I clapped my hands mockingly. Oh, I believe you. Teacher Shen, I'd believe anything you say, but I wonder if your school administrators will believe you, or the Education Bureau, or Xiaobai's college professors. At that very moment, Bai Heji dropped to her knees with a thud. Clutching her child in one arm and holding scissors to her own throat with the other, she declared with grim determination, if I can't go to college, I'd rather die with this child. Madam, isn't it my life you want? Fine, take it. Seeing the situation escalate, Lu Juanrong hastily rose to his feet. I shook my head at him, signaling him to stay out of it. Shen Jincheng lunged forward, snatched the scissors from Bai Heji's hands, and pulled the girl into a tight embrace. Don't do anything foolish. With that, Shen Jincheng turned to glare at me, his eyes brimming with venom as if he wanted to tear me apart. Su Chenyan, you're truly vile. You're driving her to her death with your cruelty. I let out a cold laugh. If she actually had the guts to kill herself, I'd respect her for having some shame, but she's too selfish. She'd never dare. 12. I glanced at the quartz clock on the wall. It was already 1 a.m. This has dragged on long enough. I'm exhausted, yawning. I headed for the door. I'm going to wake up the whole neighborhood right now and let everyone see this spectacle. Then I'll report it to the police station. Either Shen Jincheng goes to prison for raping a student, or both of you lose your reputations, jobs, and academic futures. Your choice. Shen Jincheng rushed to block my path. Chen Yan, after all we've shared as husband and wife, are you really going this far, leaving no room at all? I stared straight at him. You fucked that bitch in our marital bed. Did you leave me any room for mercy? Shen Jincheng clenched his jaw, glaring at me before finally speaking. You'll back off if I give you the divorce papers and admission letter. That's all you want. I nodded with a faint smile. Shen Jincheng turned to Bai Heji. Fetch the admission letter. Bai Heji shook her head vigorously like a rattle drum. No way. College means everything to me. Shen Jincheng walked over and wrapped his arms around the girl, coaxing helplessly. But if you don't do this now, Su Chenyan will kill us both. You can retake the college entrance exams next year or the year after, with me by your side. What are you afraid of? After a long hesitation, Bai Heji finally let a tear fall with a plop and nodded in agreement. She rummaged through her travel bag for the admission letter, clutching it tightly in her hand, unwilling to hand it over. I snatched it away and fished out matches from my trouser pocket. Right in front of Bai Heji, I set the admission letter ablaze. Bai Heji shrieked and desperately grabbed at the burning letter with bare hands, weeping bitterly. I raised my hand and slapped her hard across the face. Bai Heji glared at me furiously, gasping for breath. You, I sneered. Don't look at me like that. Everyone must pay for their sins. Xiao Bai, you may have lost your education, but you've gained a man who truly loves you. That's a fair trade. With that, I quickly gathered my belongings and walked out of this prison that had trapped me. As I stepped over the threshold without looking back, I threw Shen Jincheng a final warning. We're filing for divorce first thing tomorrow. Try any tricks, and I'll make sure you both live in hell for the rest of your lives. 13. The divorce went through without a hitch. Shen Jincheng and I were oddly in sync. We didn't inform our parents and agreed to break the news when the time was right. But Shen Jincheng made one request. He claims to have paid me compensation, divorced me as I demanded, and destroyed the admission letter. Now he's just begging me to hand over that videotape. I refused. Give it to him. Not a chance. This tape will always be my trump card. With this, Bai Heji can forget about going to college. With this, Shen Jincheng won't dare slander me. Whether and when to release it depends on my mood, and how well they behave on the day of our divorce. I asked Shen Jincheng about his plans. Would he marry Bai Heji? Shen Jincheng replied coldly, none of your damn business. He said he recognized the man who beat him that night. Lu Juanrong, a Hong Kong-based director, had previously advertised open casting calls in newspapers. Recently, many actresses from theater troupes across the country have been coming to Xicheng for auditions. Shen Jincheng sneered that I was a scheming gold digger who'd been aiming to be someone's mistress all along. He wished me a lofty flight followed by a brutal fall, hoping I'd get dumped soon. I have class. May that adulterous pair Shen and Bai Heji grow old together, if they don't get struck by lightning first while crossing the street. Finally, I gave him one last reminder. Bai Heji looks innocent, but she's actually calculating. that night when we were fighting so badly, you desperately defended her. Yet all she cared about was getting into college. Never mind if you'd be labeled a rapist. I warned him to keep a close eye on that young wife of his, or she might just run off with another man. Shin Jincheng cursed me out for my harsh words, then walked away without looking back. I turned and walked the opposite way. 3 decades of marriage, 2 lifetimes of entanglement, finally reached a temporary full stop. From then on, we went our separate ways, never to cross paths again. 14. A month later, with his mainland affairs settled, Lu Juanrong took me back to Hong Kong. Before departure, we had a meal at a Cantonese cha chan teng. He sipped black tea while reading the newspaper. After finishing the shrimp dumplings, I hurried to write the letter. Lu Juanrong glanced sideways and drawled, "What are you writing?" My pen flew across the paper. "Writing to my cousin in West City, asking her to look after my parents when she has time. Actually, I'm writing an anonymous whistleblower letter." In the letter, I reported to Xiqing Education Bureau that Shin Jincheng, a teacher from First High School, committed adultery with a female student, utterly unethical and unfit to be an educator. Just let them off that easily, not a chance. A faint smile played on my lips, my heart brimming with contentment. Lu Juanrong flipped his newspaper with a sneer. "Burning by Heji's admission letter won't stop her from retaking the college entrance exam next year. And this is your grand retaliation. Pathetic. I suppose this counts as an amicable parting with your husband." I answered evasively. "Every civilized farewell is built upon countless heartbreaks. By letting him go, I'm freeing myself too." I'd never tell Lu Juanrong. When poverty comes in at the door, love flies out the window. A young child and a useless husband, what deeper hell could drag a woman down? Little did I know that by year's end, Shin Jincheng's mother would suffer a stroke and become bedridden, with the second son stationed in Yunnan and Shin Jincheng, the eldest, being both meddlesome and image-conscious. The burden of caring for his mother fell entirely on his wife. Naturally, the cunning and selfish Bai Heji might even abandon her own daughter to flee this living hell without hesitation. That's why I'm writing this exposé. I must expose Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji's illicit affair, make their relationship public, and bind them together irrevocably. I won't give her the slightest chance to escape Shin Jincheng, let alone allow her to attend university. Debts must be repaid. It's that simple. Time to go. Lu Juanrong folded his newspaper and put on sunglasses. "Miss Su, you should change your stage name. The current one's a bit tacky," I quickly asked. "Then, what should I go by?" Lu Juanrong pondered for a moment. "Suzy, how much of spring's essence do you truly understand?" "Alright." 15. The developments in Hong Kong City unfolded unexpectedly, yet somehow inevitably. Lu Juanrong's earlier mainland audition for actresses was for the art film Romance in West City, specifically produced with award ambitions. The female lead ultimately went to Hong Kong's art film queen, Yin Yuan Yuan. The supporting female role, specifically the character who speaks Xiqing dialect, went to a girl from the Xiqing opera troupe. She's stunningly beautiful with exceptional skills in vocal delivery, stage presence, and overall performance. I wasn't cast in any of the roles. Lu Juanrong was blunt with me. The reason he signed me in the first place was because he saw something special in my acting. But this industry is overflowing with talented, gorgeous actresses, with zero acting experience. He lacked the patience to train me. No way was I getting cast directly. Lu Juanrong signed me to a 6-month probationary contract. During this period, he'd get me into at least 2 productions. No guarantees on screen time. After 6 months, if I didn't meet his standards, we'd part ways. In other words, I'm completely on my own in this journey of self-improvement. Right after signing the contract, the ever-busy Lu Juanrong jetted off to the UK. Sister Feng grumbled. "Ron's being downright heartless. Ziyi's a young, pretty girl who's new to Hong Kong. Not only is he not paying her, but he won't even arrange accommodation." I quickly interjected. "Mister, Lu did me a huge favor during my divorce and gave me this opportunity. He's been my benefactor. I really can't ask for more." "Of course, Sister Feng, you've been my guardian angel too. I'll never forget your kindness when you gave me clean clothes during my lowest moment." Sister Feng waved her hand with a laugh, her plump cheeks dimpling sweetly. "Oh, it was nothing, just a small favor." Sister Feng is truly wonderful. She went out of her way to help me find the perfect apartment. Finally, Sister Feng told me she'd arrange for me to join a historical drama crew in November. She advised me to interact more with locals in Harbor City, as my biggest challenge right now is the language barrier. I thanked her repeatedly for the advice. After a night of careful consideration, I mapped out a 6-month plan for myself. First and foremost, I need to address basic survival needs. I don't have much money on hand, so I need to find a job. after careful consideration, I decided to take a part-time job at a fried chicken fast food joint with daily pay. This way I can practice my communication skills while staying available if the film crew contacts me. Also, no matter how tight money gets, I'll set aside some funds for skincare products and maintain a daily workout routine. The face is one's calling card, one's greatest asset, ultimately. I must read voraciously, and attractive appearance means nothing if I can't comprehend scripts or lack understanding, which would be fatal for an actor. My daily schedule is packed to the brim, exhausting, yet exhilarating. Think back to past lives. I plan my adopted daughter's education, nurture her talents, tend to sick elders, and care for my husband. I am a mother, a filial daughter-in-law, a devoted wife. Yet I am never Su Chenyen, never truly myself, until now. Everything I strive for is for myself. Now, I am Su Ziyi, 16, November is coming soon. Sister Feng got me into the film crew. I'm playing a minor role with barely any screen time, not even a single line of dialogue, to put it bluntly, just an extra, yet I get to witness firsthand how a film crew operates and observe actors' techniques up close. Naturally, as a nobody like me, being ignored, sneered at, or treated with prejudice comes as no surprise. What's the big deal? If you can't earn your keep with dignity, then bend your back. During this time, I kept hearing scattered news about West City. Shin Jincheng is under investigation. 17. Shortly after the high school semester began, the Xiqing Education Bureau received an anonymous tip. The letter alleged an inappropriate relationship between one high school teacher Shin Jincheng and his student Bai Heji. The Education Bureau immediately ordered the school to conduct an internal investigation. The allegations were later confirmed to be true. Soon after, news of my divorce from Shin Jincheng spread like wildfire. Rumors began circulating that Shin Yuqing might actually be Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji's daughter. Both parties vehemently denied the allegations. They only admitted to becoming involved after the college entrance exams, by which time he'd already divorced Su Chenyen, and Bai Heji had graduated and was legally an adult. Since when does the Education Bureau micromanage people's love lives? That being said, a teacher getting involved with a former student is highly inappropriate. Shin Jincheng was originally slated to become grade-level coordinator next semester, having previously mentored several students who got into top universities. This scandal completely ruined Shin Jincheng's reputation. Those who had grudges against him or envied him seized the opportunity to submit incriminating materials, kicking him when he was down. After repeated deliberations, the Education Bureau and school authorities decided to suspend Shin Jincheng from all duties at one high school. Shin Jincheng desperately pulled strings and even got several students to testify for him, barely managing to keep his job. However, he was transferred to a remote rural school, making his return to the provincial capital nearly impossible. This was more agonizing for Shin Jincheng than death itself, but at least he had the girl he loved by his side. Rumor has it they're already engaged. That's wonderful. Lock it down for good. 6 months flew by in a blink, and finally, the temporary contract expired. It was time for Lu Juanrong to evaluate my performance. 18. Early in the morning, I got up to freshen up and dress to impress. I gathered all my study notes and reading journals from the past 6 months, waiting anxiously with butterflies in my stomach. At noon, Sister Feng called to say Lu Juanrong had just returned from the set and we'd have a meeting at 2 p.m. He'll have a 20-minute coffee break at 4 p.m. I quickly packed up and hailed a cab to Lu Juanrong's company using the address Sister Feng provided. It had been ages since I last saw Sister Feng. I rushed forward and gave her a big hug. Ziyi, you've grown even more beautiful. Sister Feng looked me up and down with a smile, and more confident too. Sister Feng led me to Lu Juanrong's office. Ron's in a meeting that won't wrap up anytime soon. Why don't you wait here? Tea or coffee? Worried the drink might make me jittery and send me running to the restroom. I quickly smiled and declined. No thanks, Sister Feng. I'm good without anything. Sister Feng sat down and reassured me. Relax. You're already outstanding. I've checked with friends from those 3 crews you worked with. They all say you're diligent and easygoing. I asked softly, what about Director Liu? How do you think he feels? Sister Feng chuckled. Shouldn't be an issue. None of the artists we signed this year match your qualifications. Don't worry. Just as they were speaking, the door swung open. In walked an exceptionally beautiful biracial girl, about 4 years old, with delicate features resembling Lu Juanrong's. Close behind her came a woman in her 40s carrying a water bottle and school bag. The little girl skipped around searching everywhere, asking in a sweet, childish voice, "Where's Daddy? Where is he?" I looked at Fengjie in surprise. Fengjie whispered, "This is Ron's daughter, Joey, Lu Qiaoyi. She's 4 years old. The woman with her is her nanny, Auntie Lan." I was even more shocked. Director Lu got married. Fangjia shook her head, covering her mouth as she murmured, Joey's mother is British. She loved Ron deeply, but marriage was never in Ron's vocabulary. They broke up 3 years ago. Now she's married to a tycoon and living the good life. This juicy gossip left me utterly stunned. I nudged Fangjia with my elbow and gasped, how dare you spill Director Lu's private affairs like this? Fangjia burst out laughing. Private? This was front-page tabloid material for years, all about our playboy Lu Juanrong's romantic escapades. You just never paid attention to celebrity gossip. Just then, Lu Qiaoyi came running up to me. The little girl leaned her arms against my legs, gazing up at me with wide, curious eyes. I marveled inwardly, what a living doll she was, dressed in a lace gown with porcelain skin, delicate features, and thick, long lashes. Unable to resist, I bent down and gently stroked the little girl's hair. Who are you? Lu Qiaoyi beamed sweetly. Auntie, you're so pretty. Are you Daddy's girlfriend? I froze. For such a young child to understand the concept of a girlfriend, she must have either seen or heard it too often. I was just about to say no. Suddenly, Lu Qiaoyi pouted, stood on tiptoe, and slapped me with her tiny hand. I hate you, you mean woman. 19. Aunt Lan rushed over, crouched down to hug the little girl, and soothed gently. We don't hit people, sweetheart. Let's go. Lu Qiaoyi stuck her tongue out at me, then took Aunt Lan's hand and walked away. Sister Feng hurried over to check my face and whispered, you okay? Ron's little princess is spoiled rotten, got a bit of a temper. Don't take it personally. I gave her a reassuring smile. It's fine. Just then, Lu Qiaoyi, who'd already reached the doorway, suddenly came running back. She climbed onto me and gleefully played with the Mickey Mouse charm on my bag, bossing Sister Feng around. I want this. Take it off for me. Sister Feng gave me a resigned look and sighed. Fine. Just let her have it. With that, Sister Feng reached to unfasten the plush charm from my bag. I stopped her hand and shook my head at her. I leaned down to meet Lu Qiaoyi's gaze. If you want it, you'll have to ask properly. With wide, innocent eyes, Lu Qiaoyi reached out her hand. Then give it to me. No. I shook my head. You were very rude earlier, so I'm upset now. I don't want to give it to you. Clearly unused to being refused. Lu Qiaoyi instantly flared up. You're mean. I'll tell Daddy to fire you. I want that Mickey Mouse. Give it to me now. I held Lu Qiaoyi's little arm. Throwing tantrums makes children very unlovable. No presents for grumpy kids. Lu Qiaoyi pouted. But I hate you. I just want to be mean to you. Keeping my patience, I said. First, I'm not your dad's girlfriend. Second, you've misunderstood me. Don't you think you should apologize? Lu Qiaoyi's tiny face showed enormous confusion. Just then, Nanny Aunt Lan approached. Clearly unwilling to let Lu Qiaoyi apologize to someone like me, she quickly took the little girl's hand. Time for dinner. You haven't eaten your vegetables properly today. Your father would be upset if he found out. To everyone's surprise, Lu Qiaoyi shook off Aunt Lan and clung to me instead. Since you're not Daddy's girlfriend, I shouldn't have hit you. I'm sorry. She fingered the Mickey Mouse charm. Can I have this? I smiled. If you eat your vegetables properly, I might just give it to you as a reward. Upon hearing this, Lu Qiaoyi urged Aunt Lan. I want to eat now. Right this minute. Aunt Lan took out a thermal lunchbox from her bag and knelt down to feed Lu Qiaoyi. Unexpectedly, the little girl pointed at me and said, I want this pretty auntie to feed me. Placing the lunchbox on an empty chair nearby, I told the little girl, you're 4 years old now. Time to eat by yourself. Lu Qiaoyi paused for a moment, then picked up the child's fork herself, speared a piece of vegetable, and ate while watching me. I nodded gently and encouraged her. Take big bites. Aunt Lan exclaimed in surprise. My goodness, I've never seen Qiaoyi so obedient before. Miss, you're truly amazing. I just smiled. Amazing. Not really. I've just raised children before. That's all. 20. After Lu Qiaoyi finished her meal, I rewarded her with a Mickey Mouse plush toy. We made a deal. If she eats her vegetables properly from now on, I'll give her a Donald Duck plush. Lu Qiaoyi jumped for joy and tugged at me to play games with her. After playing for a while, she got sleepy. Aunt Lan was about to take her home. Lu Qiaoyi burst into tears and refused to leave, throwing another tantrum as she insisted on seeing Daddy. I knew the little girl was actually missing her father. Sister Feng noticed it too and hesitated. But Ron's in a meeting now, followed by a script reading session. Who knows when he'll be free? If Joey pesters him at this moment, he'll definitely lose his temper. After a moment's thought, I beckoned to Lu Qiaoyi. How about Auntie tells you a story? Lu Qiaoyi sniffled with her little red nose. What stories do you know? I said gently. Oh, I know plenty. Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Monkey King. Lu Qiaoyi snuggled into my arms and reached up, asking to be held. I cradled her in my arms just like I did with Shen Yuqing all those years ago, holding her close, gently patting her arm while telling her a story. Lu Qiao's tiny hand rested naturally against my chest, her thumb in her mouth as she stared at me with wide, unblinking eyes. Gradually, ever so gradually, she drifted off to sleep. When Aunt Lon tried to take her later, she clung to me crying, "It's all right, I'll hold it." Time ticked by, and about 20 minutes later, the door was pushed open from outside. Lu Juanrong walked in. Half a year had passed since we last met. He'd grown leaner, with his hair cropped shorter, giving him an even more dashing appearance. Our eyes met. He froze for 2 seconds before striding over and snatching the child from my arms. Lu Qiao, still half asleep, clung to my neck and whimpered, "Mommy, hold me." I stood stunned, turning to look at Lu Juanrong. Lu Juanrong's gaze turned icy as he roughly took the child and handed her to Aunt Lon, snapping, "Who gave you permission to bring her to the office?" Aunt Lon quickly apologized, "I'm sorry, sir, it won't happen again." After Aunt Lon carried Lu Qiao away, Lu Juanrong turned slowly, his gaze icy as he stared at me. "Suzy, what exactly do you mean by this?" 21. Seeing Lu Juanrong's sudden outburst, I realized Qiao's accidental mommy must have triggered him. He probably thought I'd put the child up to something. I quickly explained, "I was just..." Lu Juanrong cut me off sharply. "Are you having improper thoughts about my daughter?" Seeing the tension, Sister Feng hurriedly defended me. "Ron, I was there the whole time. Ziyi really didn't say anything inappropriate to Joey." "Shut up," Lu Juanrong snapped at Feng Jia, pointing at me sharply. "Don't think I don't know what you're scheming. Your temporary contract is expiring, you want an extension, to stay in Hong Kong, to be a star, to be famous, so you've set your sights on my daughter." My nose stung with held-back tears. "I didn't. Lu Juanrong's gaze turned piercing. "Then why is she calling you mommy and no one else?" "Suzy, do you think I don't know who you really are? You literally knelt in the street begging for that interview. I had people dig into your past. Your ex-husband Shin Jincheng was ruined by an anonymous tip, now rotting in some backwater village. Don't pretend you didn't write that letter. I saw you drafting it myself the day you returned to Hong Kong." Sister Feng stepped in. "Ron, Ziyi's marital grievances are her own business. Whatever she did concerns no one else, least of all today's matter. You've got this all wrong." Lu Juanrong's rage flared. I said, "Shut your mouth, are you deaf?" He turned to me. "Mark my words, Suzy, no decent agency in Hong Kong would touch a scheming woman like you. Consider yourself blacklisted. Want fame? Fine, go shoot softcore porn while you're still young. In a few years, nobody will want to look at that sagging flesh of yours." My fists clenched until fingernails bit into my palms. "Director Lu, don't you think that's crossing a line?" Lu Juanrong jabbed a finger toward the door. "Get out." It felt like an invisible slap across my face. I opened my mouth to explain further. Unexpectedly, Lu Juanrong directly called the landline, his voice icy. "Security, come upstairs." I knew he was furious, and had already formed a fixed, negative opinion about my character. He wouldn't hear a word of my explanation. Wiping away my tears, I bowed deeply to him. "You'll always be my benefactor and mentor." With that, I turned and left. As I stepped out, I turned back and told him, "Spend more time with your daughter when you can. Look how spoiled she's become under your indulgence." 22. The rain began to fall. The wind carried raindrops that chilled the skin with each cold touch. Sitting on the garden steps, I watched the endless stream of cars and people, feeling a sudden hollowness inside. This is a city of dazzling splendor, teeming with dreams, yet the waking reality cuts deeper than any dream. 6 months ago, I set sail from here with hope in my heart. Now, the ship has sunk. Suddenly, an umbrella appeared over my head. It was Sister Feng. She sat beside me, looking at me with concern. "Z, are you okay?" I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears streamed down as I clung to her and sobbed. Sister Feng rubbed my back. "Don't blame Ron. A project he really cared about fell through today. He's in a terrible mood, and when it comes to anything about Joey, he's extra sensitive. That daughter is the apple of his eye." I sobbed. "But I never meant to take advantage of Qiaoyi." I know, Sister Feng spat out. Ron really crossed the line this time, but that stubborn mule would never apologize even if he knew he was wrong. "Z, what are your plans now?" Hearing Sister Feng's words, I already had my answer. Lu Juanrong has completely turned against me. There's not a shred of hope left for reconciliation. I don't know. I lowered my head, wrapping my arms around myself. After what he said, I guess my chances in Hong Kong's film industry are gone. Sister Feng sighed noncommittally. I forced a smile, but tears kept falling. "Thank you, Sister Feng. You've always looked out for me. I'd hoped to make it big someday to repay you, but it seems that chance is lost." Sister Feng pulled me into a hug. "Fate brought us together. No need for thanks. I truly admire your decisiveness and clear principles. Whatever path you choose, I know you'll succeed. After chatting a while longer, Sister Fong had work commitments and bid me farewell. That night, sleep eluded me completely. I needed to rethink my next steps. 23. In the following days, I kept trying to land extra roles by visiting different film crews, but none would take me on. I instantly realized Lu Juanrong meant every word he said. Rent was due soon, and I was running dangerously low on cash. I had no choice but to keep working side jobs. I used to work with passion and engage with people, driven by clear goals, but now I'm utterly exhausted, unable to muster enthusiasm for anything. The thought of leaving Harbor City has even crossed my mind, yet returning home empty-handed with my tail between my legs is unacceptable. I figure a heavyweight director like Lu Juanrong was just momentarily angry. He wouldn't bother holding a grudge against some nobody like me. If I lay low for a month or two until he cools off and forgets about me completely, I can start hustling for crew jobs again. This thought lifted my spirits and eased the gloom. I stuck to my usual routine, daily workouts, reading, and side gigs. On the 10th day after Lu Juanrong's scolding, Sister Feng came looking for me. Beaming with joy, she extended her hand toward me. Ron wants to sign a long-term contract with you. Are you interested? The sudden news left me frozen in place. But, doesn't he despise me? Sister Feng shrugged and complained. Who knows about him? He changes his mind like the weather. Later, Sister Feng told me. After waiting for Lu Juanrong to cool down, she seized the right moment to show him all the notes I'd compiled over 6 months. That Sundara Lu Juanrong just sneered and ordered Sister Feng to throw them away. Sister Feng lost her temper too. You brought that young girl to Hong Kong yourself, then disappeared for half a year. Now you show up just to scold her and kick her out without even hearing her side. If you want to throw away those notes, do it yourself. I want no part in this. Sister Feng mentioned that later. She peeked and saw Lu Juanrong going through my notes. On top of that, Lu Qiaoyi clung to Lu Juanrong all day, begging the pretty auntie to tell her stories. She absolutely adored playing with her. It was one of those fresh afternoons right after the rain had cleared. Lu Juanrong called Sister Feng and Aunt Lan over, listening intently as they recounted everything that had happened in the office that day. After a long silence, he made his decision. Sister Feng asked me. Ron wants to sign a 5-year contract with you. Are you willing? I nodded eagerly like a pecking chick. Absolutely, I'd love to. 24. I've officially signed with Lu Juanrong's entertainment and film production company. It hasn't been an easy journey. I moved out of that cramped, run-down place. The company leased me a much nicer apartment. No more public baths for me. I've got my own bathroom now. Shortly after signing the contract, Sister Feng called me saying Lu Qiaoyi still remembered me and wanted me to play with her, asking if I'd be willing to come. Without a second thought, I immediately packed my things. Absolutely willing. Sister Feng drove me to the Lu family villa. The moment I stepped out of the car, Qiaoyi came running over. The little girl hugged my leg and cooed, "Pretty auntie, did you bring me a present?" I crouched down and ruffled her hair. Of course. Has Qiaoyi been eating her veggies lately? Lu Qiaoyi nodded vigorously with childish delight. Not just veggies, I drink milk every day too. That's wonderful, I said, pulling a Donald Duck plush from my bag. Qiaoyi's eyes sparkled as she eagerly grabbed it. Wow, thank you, auntie. I glanced around and whispered to Aunt Lan beside me. Is Director Lu home? Aunt Lan smiled. He's in the study, probably working on a script. I nodded in acknowledgement. I spent the morning playing with Qiaoyi, made her lunch, and watched her take an afternoon nap. I should have left by then. After much deliberation, I gathered my courage and asked Aunt Lan to brew me some coffee before knocking on the study door with the tray in hand. Lu Juanrong's cool voice came from inside. Enter. 25. My heart was pounding, my palms slick with sweat. A faint blend of tobacco and cologne greeted me as I stepped inside. The spacious study boasted floor-to-ceiling shelves crammed with literary classics, bestsellers, and extensive collections of CDs and vinyl records. Lu Juanrong sat behind the desk in casual wear, his gold-rimmed glasses and slightly tousled bangs lending him an air of refined intellect. I have to admit, he's undeniably handsome, but his temper is absolutely foul. He was completely absorbed in sketching movie storyboard frames on paper, his drawings remarkably lifelike and masterfully executed. Still here, Lu Juanrong said quietly without looking up. I snapped back to reality and moved to hand him the coffee, then hesitated, afraid I might spill it and stain his manuscript. Lu Juanrong looked up with a scoff. The way you lectured me so righteously the other day, and now you're acting like a timid old woman. I stared in disbelief. When did I ever lecture you? I wouldn't dare. Lu Juanrong tapped the table, signaling me to put down the coffee. Who was it that slammed the door and lectured me about spending more time with my daughter? I shook my head with a wry smile. He actually calls that a lecture. Setting down the coffee, I hovered near him, torn with indecision. Anything else? Lu Juanrong took a sip from his cup. I gave a formal bow. Thank you for giving me another chance. Lu Juanrong raised his hand slightly. Ah Fong said you've got potential. Thank her instead. At that, we both fell silent. He was absorbed in sketching while I stood there awkwardly, rooted to the spot. Spit it all out at once if you've got more to say. Lu Juanrong lit a cigarette and took a drag. I always get nervous around him. After hesitating for a long moment, I stammered, well, Sister Fong said she'd get me a minor role in a cop film next month. But I don't think I'm experienced enough. I want to take acting classes. Lu Juanrong scoffed. What? You think entertaining Joey for half a day earns you the right to make demands? I mustered my courage. This has nothing to do with Chowie. Our contract clearly states the company must provide training for artists. Besides, you personally signed me. If I bomb on stage, it's your reputation on the line. And if I succeed, I'll start making you money faster. Lu Juanrong smirked dismissively. You're light years away from turning a profit. Now get out. I protested urgently, but Lu Juanrong frowned. Get out. All right. I admit I'm a little afraid of him. Having failed to achieve my goal, I could only leave in frustration. After getting home, I worked out for over an hour to somewhat ease the sting of rejection. I'd just finished my evening shower and put on a face mask when Fang Jie's call came through. Z, I've got fantastic news. Ron managed to secure you a spot in the TV station's acting training program. Good heavens. You have no idea how exclusive that program is. They only accept their own signed artists. Ron spent hours negotiating with the network executives. He had to promise the lead role in his next movie to one of their talents before they'd agree. I'm so overwhelmed with joy that I can't even process it yet. Sister Fang asked. Why so quiet? Pressing a hand to my pounding chest, I said. I begged him earlier today, but he refused. I thought he wouldn't care at all. Sister Fang laughed. He's all bark and no bite. Truth is, he's been feeling guilty about losing his temper with you last time, but that pride of his won't let him admit it. Congratulations, Z. With tears in my eyes, I said. Thank you, Sister Fang. I'll cherish this opportunity. 26. Soon after, I joined the TV station's artist training program as a transfer student. My classmates were all exceptionally talented. Several familiar names who I believe will become future award-winning actors. Our instructor was a seasoned actor who delivered lessons with wit and charm. I can genuinely feel my growing understanding of acting. During the acting program, I not only learned a great deal but also expanded my network, landing minor roles and commercial gigs. A top-tier producer offered me a supporting role in a high-budget period martial arts drama with an A-list crew. I want this. This isn't up to me. I have to follow the company's decision. Lu Juanrong's call. Lu Juanrong said TV series take way longer to produce. It's a completely different ballgame from films. He advised against me going. I caught his underlying message. Being away for extended periods means I can't be there for Chowie consistently. Chowie's become more attached to me lately. She insists I take her to kindergarten instead of letting Sister Lon do it. The poor child never knew her birth mother, so she's cast me in that maternal role. It's really quite heartbreaking. I visit the Lu household often, so I frequently run into Lu Juanrong. In his spare time, he'd often give me guidance and taught me a great deal. This was an incredibly rare opportunity that I truly cherished. Though he often wore a sour expression, our interactions gradually made our relationship less awkward. During Christmas when Lu Juanrong was on leave, Cherry wanted us to take her to the amusement park. Kids recharge in 10 minutes and stay energized for 24 hours, after coming home at night. Cherry showed no signs of fatigue and insisted on making her exhausted parents play Eagle Catches Chicks with her. I was the mother hen, with Cherry clutching my clothes as we dodged Lu Juanrong. The eagle, Daddy, come catch me. Cherry laughed joyfully, beads of sweat glistening on her forehead. Lu Juanrong growled playfully, here comes the eagle. I spread my arms wide. Cherry, look out. Lu Juanrong pounced, tackling us both to the ground. Got you now. Lu Juanrong tickled the child playfully. Cherry giggled, rolling on the plush carpet. Mommy Z, save me. I froze, suddenly remembering how half a year ago in the office, Cherry's drowsy mommy had earned me Lu Juanrong's scathing reprimand that cut to the bone. A bad premonition flashed through my mind as I hurriedly looked at Lu Juanrong. To my surprise, Lu Juanrong showed no unusual reaction. He kept playing with the child as usual, even lightly tapping my forehead while saying, "This mother hen is so silly." Letting the eagle steal all her chicks, snapping out of my daze, I pretended to snatch Cherry away. The three of us laughed and roughhoused together until late at night when Cherry needed to sleep. I gave Cherry a bath, told her a bedtime story, and only left after she'd fallen asleep. Downstairs, I saw Lu Juanrong sitting on the rug by the fireplace, sipping red wine while reading. As usual, I quietly turned to leave, unexpectedly. He called out, "Care for a drink, 27. I walked over and took a seat across from him. He poured me a glass of red wine. "Try this, it's a premium vintage from a friend's private cellar." I murmured an agreement and took a big gulp. Tasted awful. Noticing my grimace, Lu Juanrong raised an eyebrow. "Not to your liking." I nodded honestly. "Can't appreciate fancy foreign liquor. Still prefer good old baijiu." Lu Juanrong shook his head with a laugh. "Next time I'll treat you to mitai then." Only a dim yellow lamp lit the first floor. Flickering fireplace flames cast shadows across his strikingly handsome features. His white loungewear hung open at the chest, 2 buttons undone to reveal toned muscles. Then he leaned in, his mountain-like frame looming over me. My mouth went dry with nerves as I leaned back to avoid him. "Humph." Lu Juanrong chuckled softly, brushing a stray glitter fleck from my hair. He settled back into his seat and took a sip of his drink. My heart raced wildly, the fireplace heat becoming oppressive. I'd barely drunk anything, yet felt strangely intoxicated. "Joey really likes you." Lu Juanrong swirled his wine glass. "She's become much brighter since you came into her life. Those little bad habits and temper tantrums have gradually disappeared." "Thank you, Z." I waved my hand. "Don't mention it. I genuinely like Cherry too." Lu Juanrong clinked glasses with me. "Those things I said about you before, that was way out of line." "My bad." I pretended to clean my ear. "Wow. Fangjia said you're as stubborn as a mule who never admits mistakes." "Did I hear that right?" Lu Juanrong reached for the desk phone. "Fang actually badmouths me behind my back. I'm docking her pay." I grabbed his arm hastily. "No no no. Punish me instead if you must." A smirk played on his lips as his gaze dropped to my hand. I quickly let go of him, clenching my fists behind my back. The unspoken tension crackled between us like sparklers fizzing with clandestine sparks. Lu Juanrong tucked my stray hair behind my ear and asked softly, "I turned down 3 drama offers for you this past year, all became huge hits after airing. Are you upset?" I leaned back slightly, forcing a light-hearted smile to mask my sinking heart. "You've been in this industry long enough to know what suits me." "That's good." Lu Juanrong smiled faintly. I glanced at my watch. "I should head back now." Lu Juanrong said casually, "It's quite late. It's not safe for you to go back alone. Why don't you stay here tonight?" I chuckled. "No worries, I'm driving. I'll be home in no time." 28. Shortly after Christmas, Sister Fang excitedly informed me that the company had secured me a sweet deal, a period film scripted by renowned screenwriter Liang Chaoxing. Deep down I knew this opportunity came from Lu Juanrong's connections. To be precise, it was his way of compensating me for accompanying his daughter. Before filming began, Lu Juanrong walked me through the scenes in detail, reassuring me not to feel pressured since I was only the 3rd female lead. The spotlight would be on the main actress and supporting lead. I've read the script. All my scenes combined would take at most a month to shoot, so it wouldn't interfere with taking care of Qiaoyi. Before leaving, I pinky promised Qiaoyi that I'd never abandon her and would return soon. I joined the film crew in no time. The set atmosphere was fairly harmonious. The leading lady, accomplished in acting, singing and film, was remarkably down-to-earth. The male lead Lin Yanqi, fresh off winning Best Newcomer award, has a boundless future ahead. I learned so much during filming and truly enjoyed the experience. The only downside was the second female lead Sun Manning being such a drama queen. She seemed to have it out for me. We kept retaking this slapping scene until my face was swollen by noon. "Oops, sorry Z." Sun Manning handed me an ice pack with this fake innocent look, saying it's my first time acting. "Cut me some slack, sis, don't be mad." I swallowed my anger. Landing a supporting female lead role in your first acting gig, someone powerful must be backing you. My face burned with pain as I forced a smile. "No worries. I'm fine with multiple takes if it makes the final cut better." Sun Manning shot me a disdainful glance but replied sweetly, "How very understanding of you." After she left, I quietly turned to Sister Fang beside me. "What's her deal?" "All I know is she made it to the top 10 in last year's Miss Harbor City pageant." Sister Fang picked up the powder puff to touch up my makeup. Fuming, she left actual finger marks. "That woman's vicious." She carefully closed the dressing room door and whispered, "Sugar daddy money." Obviously, with her wooden acting, she wouldn't even qualify as an extra otherwise. "So that's how it is." I gingerly touched my stinging cheek. "But I'm not even competing for her sponsor." "Why, she had it in for me since day one of filming." Sister Fang smirked. "She's Ron's XXX. The whole industry's been gossiping about how Ron pulled strings to get you into that TV acting program. That woman's vicious. She once poked holes in condoms trying to baby trap him." Got dumped when Ron found out. Now she thinks you're his new favorite and is jealous, so she's messing with you. So that's how it is. Sister Feng warned me about Lu Juanrong being a playboy. Now I see what she meant. Ex-girlfriends everywhere you look. 29. I only had one scene in the afternoon, but just as I was leaving, Sun Manning started her drama again. My diamond ring is gone. Sun Manning flew into a rage, claiming her newly auctioned pink diamond worth a fortune and as big as a pigeon egg must have been stolen by someone. She ordered the director to lock down the set, forbidding anyone to leave while her assistants rummaged through everyone's bags one by one. Though exasperated, the director had no choice but to indulge the diva's whims. Her sugar daddy, being the production's investor who couldn't be crossed, searched everywhere but found nothing. In the end, only the lead actors and I remained unchecked. I see. This is targeting me again. Z, mind if I go through your bag? Sun Manning crossed her arms, a sly smile playing on her crimson lips. Knowing full well my bag had been tampered with, I replied coldly, I do mind. I stood my ground. You have no right to search my belongings. Only the police can do that. Sun Manning sneered and rolled her eyes. Sister Z, refusing a search. What are you hiding? The moment she finished speaking, she ordered her assistants to snatch mine and Sister Feng's bags. I couldn't let her lay a finger on us. Frantically, I turned to the director. Director Lee, are you just going to stand there? Director Lee pretended to examine the equipment, turning his back. With a ripping sound, my bag was snatched and torn open, sending cosmetics and notebooks clattering to the ground. Among the scattered items was an unfamiliar velvet jewelry box. Sun Manning shrieked, my diamond ring. She stormed over in a rage and slapped me without hesitation, caught red-handed. What else do you have to say for yourself? Sister Feng shielded me. Stop framing people. Z would never take this. Sun Manning sneered. Country bumpkins from backwaters get grabby when they see fancy jewelry. What wouldn't they stoop to? Sister Feng snapped, grabbing Sun Manning by the collar. Watch your fucking mouth. Sun Manning's bodyguards rushed forward, ready to beat up Sister Feng. Nobody fucking move. I pulled Sister Feng behind me and stared straight at Sun Manning. Let's call the police then. They can check the fingerprints on the diamond ring. That'll settle everything. A flicker of panic crossed Sun Manning's eyes before she sneered. No need to waste police resources over such trifles. Suzy, you'll kneel and apologize to me. No way. I stood my ground. This is about my reputation. I'm calling the police. I turned to the director. Director Lee, could you help me report this? Director Lee tried to smooth things over. It's not that serious, Z. Just apologize to Manning and we'll drop it. I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? Director Lee scowled. So you're making everyone wait around for you. Apologize now. Trembling with anger, I was about to retort. Suddenly, a pleasant male voice came from ahead. I saw it, an hour ago. Miss Sun's assistant sneaked into Suzy's dressing room while she was filming. I turned toward the sound. The strikingly handsome man speaking was Lin Yanqi, the male lead of this drama. 30. Lin Yanqi gave me a nod and a smile, hands in pockets. I support calling the police. Let them check for fingerprints. The atmosphere suddenly turned tense, with hostility thick in the air on set. Sun Manning lashed out at Lin Yanqi, claws practically out. This is none of your business. Get lost. Lin Yanqi leaned lazily against the wall. I just can't stand by and watch. Call it meddling if you will. Just then, the cinematographer hurried in and whispered something into Director Lee's ear. Director Lee gave me a meaningful look before standing up. Enough. The set has surveillance cameras. We've got everything on tape, crystal clear. He then turned to Sun Manning. Miss Sun, do keep better track of your belongings and your people. No more leaving things, or people, where they don't belong. The implication was crystal clear. Everyone present understood perfectly. Sun Manning's face burned crimson, yet she still wanted to make a scene. Director Lee lost his temper. Are we fucking shooting or not? Get out if you can't do your job. Sun Manning froze, tears instantly welling up as she spat. You'll pay for this. With that, she turned and ran. I breathed a sigh of relief. The whole farce had ended without disaster. After the assistant director whispered a few words, Director Lee's attitude shifted. Seems I've got someone powerful backing me. A smile tugged at my lips. It had to be him. Just then, Lin Yanqi walked up to me. Thank you for earlier, I said hurriedly. Lin waved it off casually. Don't mention it. I've got your back. I asked in surprise. Why do you say that? Lin Yanqi smiled. I also graduated from the acting program, just 2 years ahead of you. That makes me your senior. I extended my hand. Well, thank you then, senior. Lin Yanqi shook my hand. Words aren't enough. How about letting me take you out to dinner? I gladly accepted. 31. Lin Yanqi still had night scenes to shoot, so we made plans to have dinner together in a few days. After leaving the set, I spotted Lu Juanrong's car from a distance. I exchanged a glance with Sister Fong, hurried over, and got into the passenger seat. I knew it was you. I grinned at Lu Juanrong, only to wince as the movement tugged at the wound on my left cheek. When did you get here? Lu leaned closer, brushing his thumb gently across my face. Came at noon. That woman really did a number on you. Does it hurt? I rolled my eyes dramatically. This is all your fault. How dare you even ask? Lu Juanrong frowned. So everyone knows now. That blabbermouth Ah Fong. I'll stitch her lips shut next time. Don't blame Sister Fong, without her heads up. I'd never have known why I offended people. I straightened up nervously. Sister Fong said Sun Manning has powerful backers. Aren't you worried about making enemies by having Director Lee do this? Worried about me? Huh. Lounging back in his chair, Lu Juanrong drawled. Her sugar daddy's a Zhu, and I've already contacted Mrs. Zhu. Get the picture? It clicked instantly. By the way, Lu Juanrong shot me a sidelong glance. I saw you laughing it up with Lin Yanqi earlier. What were you two chatting about? The words tumbled out. Turns out he trained at the same acting studio. That makes him my senior, handsome, decent, brilliant actor. He even asked me to dinner just now. Lu Juanrong's eyes darkened as he twirled a strand of my hair between his fingers, asking with a smirk, so, are you going? My gut screamed danger. If I said yes, Lu Juanrong would definitely lose his temper. No. Without hesitation, I replied, my career's just taking off. I can't afford any scandals. Lu Juanrong arched an eyebrow. Good. At least you're not stupid. I looked at him and countered. A producer invited me to star in an erotic film, promising no nudity. He said these movies sell well and would boost my fame. What do you think? Should I take it? Lu Juanrong lifted my chin with his index finger. Not a chance. Then he leaned in for a kiss. Instinctively, I pulled back. But then met him halfway. 32. I'm with Lu Juanrong now. His bedroom manner is as domineering as his personality. We didn't leave the bedroom for 3 straight days. During subsequent shoots, Lu Juanrong visited the set whenever he could, though Lu Juanrong never made it official. Practically the entire crew took it for granted that we were dating. Lin Yanqi hadn't spoken to me for days. When he finally approached me, he was surprisingly candid. I was planning to pursue you, but turns out you're already taken. He hesitated before blurting out in a roundabout way, Director Lu's got the looks and talent. Plenty of actresses have a crush on him. I thanked him and said I knew what I was doing. Thanks to Mrs. Zhu and Lu Juanrong's influence, the screenwriter revised the script, significantly increasing my screen time. During post-production editing, Sun Manning's scenes ended up on the cutting room floor. I officially became the second female lead. During promotions, footage leaked of Sun Manning slapping and falsely accusing me on set. Sun Manning's scandals exploded overnight, with tabloids brazenly publishing photos of her topless at drinking parties. Sun Manning got blacklisted. The public outrage drowned her, while I, the actual victim, stepped into the spotlight, reaping waves of sympathy and attention. I never heard about Sun Manning again. Some say she couldn't handle the online abuse and had a mental breakdown. Others claim Madame Zhu put her in her place. My first supporting role film released at year-end to critical acclaim. My rising fame brought numerous endorsement deals and acting offers. Many journalists wrote flattering press releases about my acting skills, but on the flip side, rival studios and media outlets kept digging up dirt on me. When you get down to it, it's just the usual romantic gossip. It does get annoying sometimes, but bad publicity is still publicity. I'll take it all in stride. 33. My relationship with Lu Juanrong is going smoothly, and we often take Cherry out together. Sometimes I get this illusion that we're like a family of 3. I've even fantasized about him proposing to me someday. I'd walk down the aisle in a pristine wedding dress as he slips the diamond ring onto my finger. Sister Fong would just shake her head speechlessly every time she saw me love-struck, listening to my romantic fantasies. Women in love have negative IQ, as longtime friends. She never minces words when speaking to me. Keep it flirty when dating, never get emotionally involved. Those peach blossom eyes of Ron's are the most deceptive. Sure, he dotes on you now and treats you well, but he's been just as sweet to every ex. The man's a charmer and a heartbreaker. He'll never commit to one woman. Don't give him your heart, or you'll end up shattered. I laughed and scolded him. Must you always assume the worst? Ron's genuine with me. By mid-year, I graduated from acting school. Soon after came more good news. I was nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Golden Deer Awards. This award carries immense prestige, widely regarded as the highest honor in China's film industry. 34. As a newcomer, I dare not entertain hopes of winning. I'll just treat it as an opportunity to broaden my horizons, wearing haute couture, looking fabulous, taking stunning photos, and applauding along with everyone when the presenter called my name. I froze for a second until Lin Yanqi sitting beside me nudged me with a chuckle. snapping me out of my daze. Wait, did I actually win? The podium steps were low, yet climbing them felt like walking through decades. The chill of the trophy in my hands as I accepted it from the presenter confirmed everything. This was real. I never dared to dream I'd be fortunate enough to receive such an honor. Beyond thanking my team and director, my deepest gratitude goes to Ron. The applause and flowers made me feel like I was walking on air, utterly magical. Right after the awards ceremony, I couldn't wait to call Lu Juanrong. I tried calling several times but couldn't get through. Sister Feng said Ron's been busy filming on location lately, probably swamped with work. Got it. Right after that, I called my parents. When they found out I divorced Shin Jincheng, they flew into a rage, calling me shameless for running off to Hong Kong with some stranger, saying I'd get trafficked without even realizing it. They tried forcing me to remarry Shen and even threatened to fly to Hong Kong to drag me back home. I told them it would never happen. They lashed out, disowning me as their daughter, then softened their tone saying Mom had a stroke because of me and begged me to come home. I knew deep down they were just worried about me, but I couldn't turn back. I held my ground against the pressure and stayed in Harbor City. At first they kept scolding me, but as I sent money home time after time, the reprimands gradually faded. When my photos appeared in newspapers and on TV, they finally believed I'd truly become a star, and started reminding me to take care of my health and not overwork myself. Now that they've heard about my award, they'll never stand in the way of my dreams again. Everything's moving in the right direction. I'll be truly happy. Right after the victory banquet, I rushed home in a hurry, since Ron was busy. I decided to celebrate with Chowie instead. To my surprise, when I got back, I saw Lu Juanrong's male assistant's car parked outside. The assistant stopped me with an awkward expression. Miss Chowie has gone to her uncle's place. The illuminated villa made everything click in an instant. I told my male assistant, don't mention to Ron that I came back, 35, dressed in an evening gown with a glass of red wine. I spent the entire night sitting in the car. At dawn the next day, a stunningly beautiful girl with a perfect figure emerged from the villa, youthful and delicate, exuding sensual allure. Lu Juanrong's male assistant drove her away. I hesitated, wrestled with my emotions, seethed with anger, then finally found peace. An hour later, having freshened my makeup and smoothed my hair, I stepped gracefully from the car and entered the villa carrying both wine and trophy. Lu Juanrong sat at the dining table in his robe, sipping coffee. The loosely tied collar revealed faint, fresh scratch marks on his chest. You're back. Lu Juanrong spread his arms wide as he approached. Congratulations, my best supporting actress. I laughed and hugged him. Best supporting actress. How bitterly ironic that sounds. I should have celebrated with you right away. Fighting back tears and forcing myself to ignore the feminine perfume clinging to him, I looked up and said, the crew's throwing a party. What can I do? Had to leave you behind for now. Lu Juanrong eyed me from head to toe, admiration gleaming in his eyes. A masterpiece. I caught the live stream last night. My Zi looked absolutely stunning. We both knew exactly what happened last night, yet neither mentioned it. Lu Juanrong uncorked the wine and poured a glass for each of us. He brushed his finger along the bridge of my nose. Now our Z's got suitors lining up around the block. Raising my glass with a smirk, I countered, still can't compete with our renowned director Lu. We drank in silence, avoiding each other's gaze. Lu Juanrong finally broke the silence. Z, I have feelings for you, but I was born in Britain, raised in America, and only returned to Hong Kong as an adult. My values are quite Western. I practice open relationships. What do you mean? My heart sank as I asked. Lu took a sip of his drink. It means we can be together while still seeing other people, no strings attached. Could you live with that? 36. I told Sister Feng about this. Sister Feng immediately flew into a rage. I knew he was a player, but I never thought he'd take it to this level. What a load of crap about open relationships. I couldn't stop crying. That's exactly what he deserves. Keep going, say more. Sister Feng pulled out a tissue, wiping my tears while scolding. I warned you, dating's fine, but don't give your heart away. Now you're hurt, aren't you? I craned my neck to cry, terrified of staining my gown with tears. Sister Feng chuckled at my ridiculousness. So what's your plan? Taking his offer. I grimaced. What choice do I have? Sister Feng planted her hands on her hips. Then get yourself a man too. You're the Golden Deer Award's best supporting actress, for heaven's sake, hotter than ever with tons of handsome guys chasing you. Give that bastard Ron a taste of his own medicine. No. I shook my head. Sister Feng glared at me with exasperation. You handled your ex-husband with such ruthless efficiency back then. Why the hesitation now? Wiping away tears, I smiled bitterly. Ron can have new girlfriends, but I can't. I need things from him. My career and future matter more to me than romance or lust. To gain something, I must pay the price willingly. I have to wait for him to break up with me. I can't afford to betray him recklessly. I dare not gamble on Lu Juanrong being forgiving, nor trust that his so-called open relationship is genuine. This isn't a bet I can afford to lose. Sister Fong let out a long sigh. So what do you call this? Conscious self-destruction. I wrapped my arm around her. Come drink with your girl, Sister Fong declared with reckless abandon. Drink till we drop. 37. Maybe out of compensation, or perhaps a tinge of guilt, soon after. Lu Juanrong gifted me a designer bag and secured numerous opportunities for me. My schedule became packed again. I focused mainly on films, occasionally taking on a TV series or two. Progress was steady though gradual. I made a fortune, bought a spacious home in Harbor City, and brought my parents to live with me. Besides acting, I also tried releasing an album, but the response was just so-so. After finishing each project, I always take some time off for myself, taking courses at school. Traveling abroad, Cherry has always been by my side. This was our unspoken agreement, a subconscious contract between Lu Juanrong and me that required no signatures. During Cherry's childhood, I essentially became her mother figure, watching her grow up. Ironically enough, Cherry rarely visited her father at work but clung to me constantly. Cherry once told me, "Z, my dad's such a jerk, why don't you just leave him?" The thought has crossed my mind. But I know all too well how cutthroat the entertainment industry can be, and how tough it is for a woman with no power, influence, or connections to make her way. That's why I'm willing to remain Lu Juanrong's fiancé. We actually get along quite well, maintaining the open relationship he originally proposed. His so-called openness only goes one way. Whenever he grew tired of a girlfriend, I'd step in as his fiancé to clean up the mess. After the initial 5-year contract ended, Lu Juanrong and I renewed for another 5 years. 38. My pace and objectives remained unchanged during the second term. As Cherry grew up, I increased my workload accordingly. Beyond producing films and TV series myself, I've also started investing. I knew mainland film and television would flourish tremendously after the millennium. That's why I planned to shift my career focus to mainland China. I was swamped with work while Lu Juanrong slowed his pace. The most noticeable change was his dwindling dating life. He went a full 2 years without a new girlfriend. His reputation remained stellar, though whispers of past his prime occasionally surfaced. He crafted a screenplay tailored for me, clearly aiming for awards season. I played the female lead opposite award-winning actor Lin Yanqi as the male lead. When the Golden Deer Awards came around, both Lin and I missed out. But Lu Juanrong took home Best Director. Even better, the film won several international awards, which really boosted my profile. During the post-show interviews, reporters asked what Lin and I wanted to say to the director. We both joked, "Director Lu, you owe each of us a movie now." Later, the reporter teased Lu Juanrong, Ms. Suzy, and Mr. Lin Yanqi are hinting that their future Best Actor and Best Actress awards depend entirely on you, Director Lu. So, can they really count on you? Lu Juanrong replied confidently, "Absolutely, they can." The reporter asked with a smile, "Words are cheap. How will you prove you're reliable?" Lu Juanrong turned to me with a grin, "Marrying Suzy and becoming sworn brothers with Lin Yanqi. We're all family now. Of course you can count on me." He burst into laughter. "Just kidding." 39. In the blink of an eye, our second 5-year contract was nearing its expiration. He personally cooked an elaborate feast at home, with red roses gracing the center of the dining table. It's my favorite flower. Lu Juanrong was cooking in the kitchen. I leaned on the table, watching him bustle about. 12 years my senior, time had quietly etched itself around his eyes. Yet I must admit, the older this guy gets, the more handsome he becomes. "What are you looking at?" Lu Juanrong served the baked lobster with a smile. "At you," I said, resting my chin on my fingers as I studied him. "White shirt and jeans today, just like when we first met." Lu Juanrong shook his head, chuckling. "Right. I was about to leave Xiqing that day when this girl came running, yelling, 'Director Lu, wait.' Next thing I knew, she'd knocked over a garbage cart, got herself covered in filth, and still clung to my arm like a limpet. I was mortified back then, but her eyes, dark and sparkling, made me look twice, and before I knew it, I've been looking ever since, never able to forget." I picked the lemon slice from my glass and nibbled it. "Wow, that's sour." Lu Juanrong shot me an amused glance, pouring himself red wine while filling my glass with juice. "Joey called me the other day saying he saw you vomiting and had your assistant buy pregnancy tests." Gazing at me tenderly, he asked, "Are we giving Joey a little brother or sister?" 40. I took his wine and gulped a mouthful. "Cherry's such a gossip. I'm not pregnant." The wine burned my throat with a bitter aftertaste. Actually, I was, but I took care of it quietly. A flash of anguish crossed Lu Juanrong's eyes, glistening with unshed tears. He rested his hand on my shoulder with a gentle smile. Funny how things change. I never used to like kids, but now I find myself wanting a livelier home. Z, let's take that Iceland trip you've been dreaming about. Weren't you always saying you wanted to see the northern lights? I agreed readily. Sounds perfect. I'll have Sister Fong look into the itinerary. Lu Juanrong froze momentarily before forcing a chuckle. Ah Fong's quite the talent. Went independent these past 2 years and built that entertainment company from scratch. Heard she signed some promising young talents. I nodded in acknowledgement while helping myself to another bite. Deep down I knew Lu Juanrong had another agenda for this dinner, to renew my contract. My current reputation and market value are at their peak. Since he wouldn't say it outright, I played dumb. Z. About that, Lu Juanrong sat across from me and said bluntly, let me get straight to the point. Our contract is about to expire. What are your plans? I put down my chopsticks. I've been so busy lately I forgot to mention it. I won't be renewing the contract. I'm planning to sign with Sister Fong's agency. Lu Juanrong lowered his gaze, a shadow crossing his face as he asked with a strained smile, at your level now. You could easily go independent. Why sign with another agency? I chuckled. Well, it's more of a symbolic signing with Sister Fong, mostly to lend her some clout and support her business. After all she's done for me over the years, this is my way of returning the favor. Not bad at all. Lu Juanrong took a large swig of liquor, his gaze steady on me. I mean it when I say I want to marry you, and it's true. I've loved you all these years. A long silence hung between us. Gently stroking the fiery red rose, I murmured. Remember when I won Best Supporting Actress? The starry sky that night was breathtaking. I watched it till dawn. Ron lowered his head. I couldn't see his face clearly. Was it sorrow, regret, or reluctance? Who could tell? None of it mattered anymore. Ron, I'm leaving. I got up and left. Just as I reached the door, Lu Juanrong suddenly called out to me, Z, you've always been such a clear-headed woman who knows exactly what you want. After all these years by my side, did you ever truly love me? Without turning back, I replied, of course I did. 41, 2 months later, I'll be staying in West City for half a month due to my new film project. Chowie insisted on coming along, saying she'd never been to West City and wanted to see where I grew up while sampling all the local delicacies. After 11 years away, West City has changed dramatically. The moment I stepped off the plane, swarms of fans came rushing toward me. Smiling, I took photos with them and signed autographs. When suddenly I thought I spotted a familiar face in the crowd, it was just a fleeting glimpse, gone when I turned back to look. After finally breaking through the throng, we made it back to the hotel by car. Cherry flopped onto the bed the moment she entered the room, pouting, never traveling with a celebrity again. My feet got trampled to bits. 11 years flew by, and now Cherry's already 15, taller than me, fair-skinned and beautiful. The spitting image of her father. A cold male voice cut through from the doorway, told you not to third-wheel us, yet here you are, tagging along like a damn limpet. The speaker was a stunning British guy, tall, built, with abs you'd want to run your hands over. Don't ask how I know, he happens to be my new boyfriend. His name is Dylan. By family hierarchy, he's technically Chowie's uncle, younger in age but higher in seniority. 2 months ago, I accompanied Chowie to visit her mother in England where we met Dylan. Uncle Dylan fell for me at first sight, asked for my number that very evening and took me out to dinner. We got together quickly and everything just clicked, absolutely wonderful in every way, but Chowie harbors intense hostility toward Dylan, convinced that this handsome young uncle is the biggest obstacle preventing her father from winning me back. Dylan wheeled in the luggage and nudged Chowie's foot lightly. I'll book your flight back to Hong Kong. Your old man's gone off the deep end after his breakup. Now he's rushing into marriage with some model he's known for less than a week. What a farce. Shouldn't you stop this? Wait till your stepmom pops out a kid to compete for your inheritance. No one thinks you're mute when you shut up. Chowie got up from the bed and snapped at Dylan defiantly. If it weren't for you, Z would have been my mom ages ago. Dylan deliberately pulled me close and planted a loud kiss on my cheek. She's barely over 30, you should be ashamed calling her mom. She'd be mortified to answer. Remember, Z isn't your mother, she's your aunt. I shook my head with a chuckle. Let them bicker. Can't control them, honestly can't. Just then, the assistant knocked and entered. Sis, a man named Shin Jincheng showed up at the hotel with his daughter, claims to be your relative and wants to see you. My heart skipped a beat. Shin Jincheng. It's been so many years, have him come up. And bring the bodyguards too. 42. Before Shin Jincheng and his daughter entered, the bodyguards had thoroughly frisked them from head to toe for concealed weapons, poison, or any surveillance devices. After years apart, I laid eyes on the father-daughter pair once again, though only in his 30s. Shin Jincheng looked prematurely aged, sporting a crew-cut, thick Coke bottle glasses, and a noticeably pudgier frame. The once refined, handsome scholar now moved with timid, cowering gestures that bore no resemblance to his former elegance. He was holding hands with a slender, dark-skinned girl around 10 years old with delicate features, Shin Yuqing. The sight of Shin Yuqing's face stunned me. 2 ugly burn scars marred the left side of her face, perhaps because of those scars. Shin Yuqing kept her head bowed. When she saw the tall, beautiful Lu Qiaoyi, her shoulders slumped even further in self-consciousness. Mommy Zi Qiaoyi had always been sensible, knowing my past and recognizing the father-daughter pair before us. She asked me with a smile, "Do you need to talk with this uncle? I'll take the little one out to play then." Suddenly, memories from my past life came flooding back. Shin Yuqing and her biological mother ganged up against me, on my deathbed. She even asked Shin Jincheng when I'd finally die, just so her father could marry her real mother sooner. I don't trust that Shin Yuqing one bit. I'll never let Qiaoyi come to any harm. No need. I turned to Dylan and said, "Just you and Qiaoyi go take a walk. No third wheels." Despite his playboy looks, Dylan was actually a devoted sweetheart who always listened to me. He nodded immediately. "Got it, you two talk." With that, Dylan took Qiaoyi's arm and headed out, passing the doorway. He politely smiled at Shin Jincheng. "Excuse me, uncle," I face-bombed. "He's barely older than you, call him bro." "Oh, sorry." Dylan shrugged sheepishly with an apologetic smile. "Excuse me, man." Shin Jincheng flushed with embarrassment, quickly pressing himself against the wall to clear the way. After Dylan and his nephew left, I gestured to Shin Jincheng. "Have a seat." 43. Shin Jincheng walked over holding Shin Yuqing's hand and took a seat on the sofa across from me. I signaled my 2 bodyguards to serve tea and fruits, shooting them a meaningful glance to keep an eye on Shin Jincheng in case he tried anything. "What brings you here today?" I asked with a guarded smile, remaining vigilant. Shin Jincheng gazed at me, lowered his eyes, and hugged his daughter. "Yuqing is your fan and would love your autograph." With that, Shin Jincheng nudged Shin Yuqing. "You were so excited at home. Why are you suddenly speechless in front of Auntie Sue?" Shin Yuqing looked at me timidly, her overly bright eyes darting around. "Hello Auntie, I'm Yuqing. I've watched so many of your TV shows and movies. I absolutely adore you. I often wish you could be my mom. Thank you for your kindness." I handed an orange to Shin Yuqing. "Don't bother asking." These words clearly came from an adult's coaching. I smiled faintly. "Professor Shin, you came looking for me. Is there something you need?" Shin Jincheng wore a complicated expression. "Miss Sue, might I speak with you privately?" "No," I flat out refused. Shin Jincheng stared straight at me. "Chen Yen, I've been reborn too." 44. Hearing this, I had bodyguard Xiao Wu escort Shin Yuqing out. Just to be safe, I kept bodyguard Xiao Zhao with me. He'd been with me for years and was completely trustworthy. I picked up the teacup and took a sip. "When did you get reborn?" "Last month." Shin Jincheng looked at me with tearful eyes. "I remember everything now. Chen Yen, my past life. This life, it all came back to me." He suddenly dropped to his knees. "Back then, I didn't know the truth. When you brought Director Liu to catch me with Bai Heji, I hated you to death. But now that I remember everything, I deserved it. Goddamn right I did. Even if I died 10 times over, it wouldn't be enough to make up for what I did to you." I turned my head to gaze out the window. Why dredge up the past, since we divorced years ago? It's best we each live our own lives. I had no desire to waste another breath on this man. Glancing at my watch, I said, "I have another appointment to keep. We'll have to cut this short." "Chen Yen." Shin Jincheng shuffled forward on his knees to block me. "Hate me all you want, but Yuqing was raised by you. How can you be so heartless toward her?" I scoffed, finally getting to the real issue. Before returning to West City, I'd already sent people to dig up dirt on Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji, that shameless pair married in haste. And while they started off lovey-dovey, reality soon ground them down. Bai Heji was stuck caring for Shin's bedridden mother while raising their child, all while his career hit rock bottom. Their income plummeted, with so many mouths to feed and bills piling up. Bai Heji worked herself ragged for 2 years before the idea of retaking the college entrance exams resurfaced, but the exams changed every year, and having been away from books for so long, she simply lacked the energy and time to prepare. The once devoted couple who couldn't be together due to obstacles ended up quarreling daily. Whenever Bai Heji was in a foul mood, she'd escape to play cards, leaving young Shin Yuqing in the care of elderly relatives. That winter was bitterly cold, so many rural households secretly used electric heaters. In a moment of inattention from her grandparents, Shin Yuqing fell and got her face burned by the glowing hot heating coil. After this incident, Shin Jincheng and Bai Heji fought and quarreled almost daily. The wife resented her husband's incompetence, blaming him for ruining her prospects. The man accused the woman of seducing him, causing him to lose the woman who truly loved him and costing him his job. Over the past 2 years, Bai Heji reconnected with her high school deskmate. Like rain after a long drought, they hit it off and blatantly cuckolded Shin Jincheng. Shin Jincheng reached his breaking point and is now filing for divorce. Coming to me now, either begging for reconciliation or asking for money, yawning from exhaustion, I asked Shin Jincheng across from me. Alright, what do you want? Shin Jincheng steadied himself on the coffee table as he sat up. Chen Yan, look at you, so radiant and successful now, since you're making big money, for old time's sake as husband and wife, could you spare me $1 million? 45, I couldn't help but laugh at his words. How much? You've got some nerve asking. What makes you think you deserve it? Shin Jincheng glanced at the bodyguard beside him and straightened his back. Just because you brought Lu Juanrong to our home that year and burned Bai Heji's college admission letter, aren't you afraid your fans will find out you once destroyed someone's future? I shook my head with a smile. Frankly, no. Infuriated by my nonchalance, Shin Jincheng slammed his fist on the coffee table. When I got anonymously reported years ago, I first suspected jealous colleagues. Later I pulled strings to get the original letter, then checked repeatedly at the post office. It was mailed from S-City. Anyone heading to Hong Kong must pass through S-City first. So you sent that letter, first ruining careers, now persecuting your ex-husband. Karma will get you. I glanced down at myself, but I'm perfectly fine right now. Shin Jincheng narrowed his eyes. Aren't you afraid I'll leak this to the media? Be my guest. I lounged on the sofa. After all the mudslinging I've endured over the years, this is nothing. Let's leak everything together. Who knows? My fans might actually respect me more for ruthlessly taking down a cheating scumbag and his mistress. Shin Jincheng choked on his anger. Gasping for breath, finally, he collapsed to his knees with a pleading look. You may hate me, but Yuqing is the child you raised. With that scar on her face, how do you expect her to live the rest of her life? I'm past caring about shame. Might as well lay all my cards on the table. After you left in my past life, I married Bai Heji. That wretched woman was used to splurging, called me poor, and took up with another man. She even stole Yuqing's dowry money. The groom's family called off the wedding on the spot, wanted nothing to do with her. I nodded and smiled. So, Shin Jincheng pleaded desperately, please lend me some money so I can get Yuqing plastic surgery. She still needs to get married and have children someday. My life is ruined, but she's still so young. I refused without hesitation. Not my problem. Have you no humanity? Shin Jincheng pointed at my face and cursed. Suddenly, he sprang up and lunged toward the window. If you don't give it to me, I'll jump, he sneered viciously. With a dead body in your house, let's see how you'll keep your movie star career. 46. Bodyguard Xiao Zhao quickly intervened. Sir, please calm down. Let's sit and talk this through properly. Shin Jincheng threw caution to the wind. There's nothing left to discuss with this cold-hearted, selfish woman. Su Chenyan, just answer me. Are you giving me the money or not? No. I rose slowly. Shin Jincheng, you've truly sunk beneath contempt. Gnashing his teeth, Shin Jincheng flung open the window and swung one leg out. For my daughter's sake, I can't afford to care about dignity anymore. I let out a cold laugh. Are you absolutely certain Shin Yuqing is your daughter? Shin Jincheng stiffened. What are you implying? I pulled a videotape from my suitcase and tossed it on the floor. I was bringing this back to West City for you anyway. It means nothing to me now, I said flatly. Do you know why I treated Shin Yuqing as my own in our past life? After multiple miscarriages left me childless, did you really think I never questioned why you doted on her so much? The color drained from Shin Jincheng's face. What exactly are you implying? That's right. I let out a long sigh. Years ago, when I saw how excessively you doted on Yuqing, I suspected she might actually be your illegitimate child, deliberately left at our doorstep for me to find and raise. So I secretly took hair samples from both of you for DNA testing. Unfortunately, the results confirmed you're not biologically related. Shin Jincheng screamed at me like a madman. That's absolute nonsense. I looked at him with pity. Your mother's definitely your real mother, but your father, that's another story. If you don't believe me, go get a DNA test yourself. Shin Jincheng looked like he was about to faint. Leaning against the wall for support, he gave me one long, hard look before storming off without a word. I walked over and shut the window. Spring had arrived, yet an unexpected gust of wind cut straight to the bone. 47. 2 weeks later, this time, all mistakes returned to square one. Recent headlines have been dominated by a rural teacher's murder case. Reports say the teacher came home to find his wife cheating with an old flame. The mild-mannered man snapped, stabbing them both, leaving only their little daughter kneeling in pools of blood. Crying for her daddy and mommy, how pitiful, wonder who they're calling for. I stared blankly at the newspaper and sighed. Just then, Dylan leaned in and wrapped his arm around me. What's on your mind? Nestling against him, I smiled faintly, thinking how we shouldn't waste such springtime beauty. After we land, let's feast, drink, and make merry. Alright, I'll go with you. The end.